When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people. When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. We're very watching from around the world and listening from around the world, because I think we're live on Jam Talk Vibes Radio. We're very listening and watching from around the world in the Eastern Caribbean. Whoop. Good evening to you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This evening we have two topics that we're going to speak about. The cost of selling votes in Jamaica and the security crisis in Haiti. We're going to have Wilfred Rattigan and Herbert Nelson Jr. to speak to us about the security crisis in Haiti. They may go over into the other discussion we're going to have with some students and some other people from Jamaica pertaining to the selling of votes in Jamaica. Welcome to the program, everyone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you all very much for coming on. Thank you all. Thank you all. Like up the live for me and share the live for me that I can have more subscription onto this channel here. As you know that we're here to not promote propaganda, but we're here to give you information. And anytime at all that you see the information we're giving you is not correct, you can come back and say to us, you can come back and say, hey, Mr. Tavares or Jeffrey, what are you giving us the other day wasn't correct. This is the correct one. We're here. We're also here to take your criticism. It is your fundamental right to criticize. It's you have your opinion that you're entitled to. And, but on the chat room, we must be respectful to each other and respect to our guests that we have on the program. Thank you all very much. You're a part of my family. You're part of the Make We Talk family. Thank you all very much for coming on. We're waiting on Mr. Rattigan and Mr. Herb Nelson Jr. to come on. You know what is going on in Haiti. Right now, the Haitian Prime Minister could not land in Haiti today or yesterday. I think it was today, yes. Could not land in Haiti today because the gang violence is going on in Haiti. The gang leaders said that if he come back to the country, they are going to create mayhem and maybe they also assassinate him. So right now, Haiti's prime minister is in Puerto Rico. It is also on the news. It was reported on the news that the American government has asked Ariel Henry, the prime minister for Haiti, to step down as Haiti's prime minister. Now Haiti doesn't have a prime minister, it doesn't have a leader right now. CARICOM is trying to do their endeavor best to see what they can do. It was reported also that Jamaica and the Bahamas, along with Kenya, let us fast forward, let us go back. Ariel Henry, the Haiti's prime minister, went into Kenya rather, to sign a deal in the sense of having Kenyan armed forces into Haiti. On his route back from Kenya, the whole turmoil started where 4,000 prisoners escaped from Haiti's prison. 4,000 prisoners escaped from Haiti's prison. And now the prime minister is not allowed to go back into Haiti. What we're being told that he's no longer the prime minister for Haiti. Well, he hasn't handed his resignation as yet. The Americans are asking him to step down. As we speak, there's an emergency meeting going on at the United Nations with CARICOM heads of government, including Jamaica's prime minister and other counterparts within the Caribbean, to see what they can do to alleviate the problems going on in Haiti. Because if they don't do something about what is going on in Haiti, it will spill over into other Caribbean countries. And so this afternoon, or this evening rather, we're going to speak about it. We're going to see what plans Jamaica have in place, because it's reported in the Observer that the Minister of National Security, Dr. Harris Chang, has said that there are security measures in place in Jamaica in case those escapees, the prisoners who escaped from Haiti's prison, in case they come on the shores of Jamaica, there are security plans put in place for that. We're faced with a problem that we need to sort out ourselves. We're faced with a problem where Jamaica is on the brink. Jamaica is on the brink right now of whether we want to believe it, yes or no. Whether we want to believe it, yes or no. Whatever happening in the parts of the Caribbean, we must be very careful in the land of wood and water. And a lot of us are saying on this platform tonight, what is Jeffrey talking about Haiti for? It has nothing to do with Jamaica. It does. It does. Haiti is not far from Jamaica. Not far at all from Jamaica. And so we must take steps. And we must play a part in it. Now, the question that we need to ask, and that's why I need Herbert Nelson Jr. on this platform tonight. The question that we all need to ask ourselves is, how can the Kenyans and the Jamaicans and the people, the armed forces or police from Barbados or Bahamas, I think, when they go into Haiti, how are they going to help the Haitian people? When the Haitian people are saying that they do not want an external forces to come into Haiti. They want Haitians to solve their own problem that they face. Now we must ask ourselves this question also. Can Jamaica afford to send its sons and daughters in harm's way? Can Jamaica afford to do that? Well, the people who is in charge of the security apparatus in our country, they should know. Jamaica have 5,000 soldiers and 15,000 police officers. I was told it's the same amount of security forces Haiti has. And I was also told by security experts that even if Jamaica send 1,000 policemen and soldiers into Haiti, it will not stop the Jamaican armed forces from helping Jamaica in the sense of anything should happen in Jamaica. It will not stop them from carrying out their duties. Those escapees from Haiti, I get to understand it was a plan that the so-called gang leader in Haiti, Barbecue, did all of that because they need more people to fight for Haiti. 4,000 prisoners escaped from the prison in Haiti. 4,000. Ladies and gentlemen, on this platform here tonight, if it's 4,000 of them escaped from Haiti, then let us pray to God that they're still remaining on the soil in Haiti, that they have not tried to escape to go to other Caribbean countries, and in particular Jamaica. Although they're saying that Jamaica has the capability to withstand any external forces, although that is going on. Who is this calling me? Hold a minute for me, please. Hello? Mm-hmm. No, no problem, Sir Herb. No problem at all. The people are waiting on you, sir. All right. Okay, thanks. Okay. That was Herb Nelson Jr. calling me. Sorry about that. We do apologize about that. That was Mr. Nelson calling. Yes. We need to really pray for the people of Haiti, you know. And people are saying it's because of voodooism why Haiti is where Haiti is. No. I would say it's mostly because of the political turmoil, the politicians milking Haiti, and the French put Haiti in a predicament from its independence. In other words, how can a black country get independent? You want independence, pay for your independency. And that's what France did to Haiti. Haiti paid for its independence from France. And from they did that, Haiti has been in the term that it's in from now. And let it be clear. The France has a lot to do with Haiti's demise. With no question. France have a lot to do with Haiti's demise. And so we must say to the French tonight, to Mr. Macron of France, you need to do more to assist what is going on in Haiti. You need to do more, and I believe that CARICOM should call on its multilateral partners to do something to bring a calm to the country of Haiti. To bring a calm to the country of Haiti. France must not just leave it like that. And I say to the CARICOM heads of government, including Prime Minister Holness, Prime Minister St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Comrade Dr. the Honorable Rolf Gonzalez, and other Prime Ministers, the Iron Lady of the Caribbean, Mia Motley. She's dubbed as the Iron Lady of the Caribbean because she's a no-nonsense Prime Minister. And I believe that with all of them, They must approach this with a hands-on and say to the multilateral partners, the United States, Canada, Britain, and France, that we in the Caribbean, CARICOM heads of government, CARICOM leaders, cannot stand by and see what is going on in Haiti. We need your help. Yes, it is good to have Kenya because Kenya is a part of the Commonwealth. And so is Haiti. And so is Jamaica. But I too believe, is my firm belief, I should say, that those three countries alone cannot and will not stem what that notorious former police officer in Haiti, AK Barbecue, will do. Because he said, if the Prime Minister should step foot back on the soil of Haiti, it will be a bloodbath. It will be genocide. So he's prepared to kill his own people. He's prepared to kill his own people. And I would say to the Prime Minister, he was not elected by the people of Haiti. And why the gang leader is saying that he must not come back into Haiti is because Haiti needs to get, they need to call elections in Haiti. They need to call elections in Haiti. And this Prime Minister that was put there by the Americans said that he will call election in 2025. Now people are saying that is too far away. Haiti has been without a government from the death of the former president, the late president Jovenel Moïse. There has been a functioning government in Haiti. I have my good friend Wilfred Rattigan, retired FBI agent, talk to host and attorney at law. Mr. Rattigan, welcome to the program, sir. Yes, 1 minute. I'll give you the minute, sir. And we must. Go ahead. Welcome to the program, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeffrey. Big up to you, your listening audience, your staff, your family, everybody.
Yes,
big
thank
up
you very
to
much.
Patricia. Big up yourself. All right, me just talk to Patricia. So
Yes. Mr. Rattigan, as a retired FBI agent, former law enforcement personnel, sir. You see what is going on in Haiti where Barbecue is saying that the Haitian Prime Minister cannot come back into Haiti. The Americans have diverted his plane to Puerto Rico. The Americans are saying that he should step down. Isn't that a crisis within the Caribbean, sir?
yeah, it's an ongoing crisis, and there is no end in sight. I don't know how this one is gonna play out because the Kenyans were supposed to send 1,000 police officers, and that deployment was held up by the Kenyan courts. It still is being held up by the Kenyan court, and then they somehow they found a francophone country in, I think it's West Africa, Central West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if it's Burkina Faso or Niger, one of them. But they said they're getting troops from, or policemen from, that country to go to Haiti. It's in a state of chaos. It's in a state of flux. What does this mean for Jamaica? It means, like my good friend Lonesome would say, that the people who have been selected to be deployed, they need to, the men, especially the men, they need to go and start selecting husbands for their wives. They need to start divorcing them now because they're not coming back alive. A lot of them not coming back alive. They're going into a country where nobody really wants to go. The US, France. You know, if there's one country who should have an interest in going in, it's France, to help to develop the country that they mash up.
Yeah.
Canada is not going, right? And CARICOM is not even going. CARICOM as a community is not going. They have, I think, 3 countries out of the 15, 3 or 4 that say, yeah, we'll deploy some troops. And it's a token representation. They send like 50, 100, whatever. So Jamaica is fully committed to this. And I don't know. Oh, it's Benin. Thank you, Albert. Benin. Yeah, Benin is, you know, they're sending people to Haiti. And I tell you, frankly speaking, this just spells trouble, spells disaster. It spells another civil war, another incursion, another occupation. And I really don't know how this is going to play out. But for right now, it's not going to play out well. I don't know 5 years from now or whatever what it will look like, but I know that for now, it's not a good look. Not a good look.
Let me ask you this question, Mr. Rattigan. The Jamaican Minister of National Security said that Jamaica has put in place security measures just in case the 4,000 prisoners who escaped from the prison in Haiti, maybe one of them or some of them may enter Jamaica. That put things in place to maybe stop that. Do you believe that, sir?
I look, I believe that hold on a second. I believe that I believe him when he says that they've put things in place. As much I believe a politician's word. You know, we're constantly reminded that it was a minister of information who said,
Let me find that. Let me find that. Hold on for me. Let me find that. Let me find that, sir. Where the Minister of Information, Jamaica's Minister of Information, famously said that we must not what?
I've always said to people, do not trust the words of politicians.
So, if you
I've always said to people, do not trust the words of politicians.
There you go. So
yes, sir.
When the Minister of National Security says to the general public that we have mechanisms or we have systems in place to deal with this crisis, look at the past and look at the present. They don't even have systems in place to deal with crime in Jamaica. They don't even have systems to deal with crime in a particular area. So how are they going to have system in place to deal with this crisis? No.
Do you believe, Mr. Rattigan, do you believe that Jamaica should really go into Haiti? Our armed forces should assist in Haiti?
I think it's premature. I think there are things that can be done. I think the players, the big players, I think they need to have, you know, everyone at the table and try and work it out. But see, there are things, and I'm being told that there are things that that are beneficial to large multinational corporations, natural resources in Haiti. I don't know how true it is, but this is what I've heard, that they have minerals and other natural resources that some of these multinational corporations they just want to get their hands on. If that's the case, then it would support the reasoning behind, you know, the present stance taken by these first world countries, that we don't see an effort by them to go in and try and clean up this mess that they caused. They caused this mess in Haiti, and we just don't see that effort with them, you know, trying to go in and do right by the Haitian people. We just don't see it. And So whether or not Jamaica should go in there now, my unequivocal answer is no. Jamaica has no business going into Haiti now, saying that they're going, and they're not even going as a peacekeeping force. They stated themselves, the Jamaican government said they're going in there to bust up gangs. They can't bust up the almost 300 gangs that they have in Jamaica, but they're gonna go bust up gangs in Haiti. Now, here's the difference between the Jamaican gangs and the Haitian gangs. The Haitian gangs, they're members of the disbanded military. What does that mean? Means they're trained, means they're well armed. And then you can add to those two factors the language barrier, the culture, the terrain. They don't know the place, so they're going in there. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. So a lot of these people from these Jamaicans going there, they have to be prepared. The Jamaican government must be prepared to bring them home in body bags. Sad to say, but it's a stark reality. Stark reality. It's an unfair war or crisis or whatever. And what I'm also concerned about is that the prime minister might use this to declare war and then say, look, I have to suspend the election, because that's one of the reasons why you can suspend the elections and why you can have a state of emergency if Jamaica is at war. But the question is, who's Jamaica at war with? Jamaica is not at war with another country. Jamaica is at war with gangs. So, and that's if they go in and people start getting killed, which is it's almost a surety that's going to happen.
Make something clear to our audience and to myself, Mr. Rattigan. When you said that the Prime Minister may declare a public state of emergency that Jamaica is at war, is it that when we go into Haiti, it's because he's sending troops into Haiti, why he's saying that Jamaica is at war?
No, if he, I'm just trying to pull something up here, but if he,
yeah, go ahead.
No. If he, all right, here we go. If he goes in there, let me just pull up the Constitution, because I don't like to speak without
you having the
yes.
evidence behind you.
Yeah, and it says I forgot the section 60 something. But the prime minister, he has the right to suspend elections through the governor general if Jamaica is at war. So, and there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we can do about that. So, and I suspect that if that happens, if people start getting killed over there, he could say, yeah, we're at war, and so we're going to suspend the election, and there are a host of things that he's able to do with the help of the governor general, or the proclamation of the governor general. So, here it is. It says that the period of public emergency means any period during which, well, let me skip that one.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking to Wilfred Rattigan on the security crisis in Haiti. Will it spill over into Jamaica? We don't know. And Jamaicans sending our sons and daughters into harm's way into Haiti.
All right.
Go ahead, sir.
Here's the thing, right? It says a proclamation made by I like giving people this section so that they can go look it up themselves. Section 20 of the Constitution, subsection 2. It says a proclamation made by the governor general shall not be effective for the purposes of subsection 1, which is a state of emergency, unless it is declared that the governor general is satisfied that, here it is, a public emergency has arisen as a result of the imminence of a state of war between Jamaica and a foreign state. So him can't really call it, because a gang is not a foreign state. It would have to be the government of the Haitian government declare war against Jamaica. It says Jamaica and a foreign state. But It says a period of public emergency means any period during which Jamaica is engaged in any war.
Oh, so in other words, if our armed forces engage in a war in Haiti, the Prime Minister of Haiti, along with the Governor General, can declare a state of public emergency.
The Prime Minister and the Governor General, yes, can declare a
Wow.
public. But see, one section says engage in any war. So they can say, well, this means we're at war with the gangs. But the section 2, subsection 2 says the proclamation cannot be made. And you see, that's where I'm telling people, I've been telling people that you need to read this thing that we call the Constitution, because my good friend, my dear friend Isaac, he cherishes the Constitution. But he and I, we have some lively discussions, and I tell him that he should cherish the section having to do with fundamental rights and freedoms, the charter. I said to him, you should cherish that, because that came into being about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. But the Constitution, in it, as we know it, the 1962 document, it has a lot of problems in there. And here's one where it says, hey, public emergency means any period during which Jamaica is engaged in any war. Doesn't distinguish between state and state actors and gangs. It's any war, right? And what that means is that it could be any war in the country or any war outside. But then when you go to subsection 2, it says subsection 1 only comes into being if there is a imminence of a state of war between Jamaica and a foreign state. So one of them says any war, and the other one says if you think you're going to be involved in a war. Imminence doesn't mean that the war has started yet. Imminence of a war between Jamaica and a foreign state. Big issues. But if you go by 2, it can declare war, because if Jamaica is fighting gangs, then that's not fighting the state. It's not fighting Haiti as a country. So unless the gangs are running the country, unless.
If you're advising the Jamaican government, sir, the Americans ask the Jamaicans to assist. And if you're a security advisor to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, what would you advise him to do, sir?
Who?
The American government asked Jamaica to assist in Haiti. All right? And if you were advising the Jamaican Prime Minister about troops going into Haiti, what would be advice to him?
Well, see, the thing is, it wouldn't be done like that. At least not on my watch. It wouldn't be where they're telling Jamaica, "Hey, we need you over here." On my watch, that's not how it would be done. On my watch, we would sit, we talk about issues, and we talk about a range of issues, not just Haiti. Remember, Jamaica and Haiti, they're part of CARICOM, right? And so the question is, where is CARICOM in all of this? Why does Jamaica have to shoulder this burden? Where is the rest of the CARICOM countries? So I mean, it's a difficult question to answer, because my gut feeling is to say no. We tell them no, but the diplomatic side, the side that has seen diplomacy at work, would say no. It doesn't work like that. You'd have to sit down. You'd have to take into context the geopolitical ramifications of entering that state, that country, Haiti, saying that you're going there to bust up gangs. What does that mean for Jamaica? What does that mean for the Asian people? What does that mean for the region? It's a complex question that you ask. It sounds simple, but it's a very complex question. Some people say the PM I should advise him to resign. That's the advice I should give him.
Mr. Rattigan, all of this is going on in the Caribbean.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Ingrid said I shouldn't put any ideas in the Prime Minister's head. Ingrid, trust me, I'm not putting any ideas in his head. What I'm doing, I'm taking the ideas out of his head and I'm expounding on it, and so that the whole world can understand what's going on, because I don't want you to be surprised. Because don't think that what I'm saying is novel, it's new, and that the PM is going to hear it for the first time. These are things that they've been thinking through at his level, and how do they get around? They have election problems. They have all kinds of problems. So this is something that they would have been talking about. So I'm not releasing anything that he's not talking with his advisors.
At the top of the hour, we're going to switch our conversation to the real cost of selling vote in Jamaica. Then at that time, I'll ask you your views on the local government election. But in the time we're going to have here, we're going to speak about the security crisis in Haiti. We're supposed to have Dr. Herb Nelson Jr., Mr. Herb Nelson Jr. I just spoke
And don't
to
forget, we have to talk about the. Sorry to interrupt you. Don't forget, we have to talk about that interview.
Yes, that interview. Yes.
Yes,
and I need to find it back and play it.
And believe me, my brother, I want to thank you for sending it to me because I'm going to play it on the program this Saturday because it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yes. We're going to do that too. Maybe what we should do then, because we're waiting on Herb, we have some more guests coming in at 7 o'clock to speak, and I must apologize to the viewing audience and listening audience. Professor Rosalea Hamilton is unable to make it this evening for unseen reasons behind her control. She's unable to make it this evening. But Mr. Rattigan, when you hear of a notorious gang leader, a former police officer, is calling a prime minister, barbecue, is saying that the man must step down. He's not a legitimate prime minister at all. if that was ever in Jamaica, how would that be?
Well, it's a very complex situation in Haiti, and so when you have a gang leader, they're powerful at that. This is not a regular gang leader like what we're having in Jamaica. This is a man who commands a ton of respect. He's in charge of a lot of people, and he's well resourced. He can't say anything he wants to say because, again, you're going to have to fight him. Bless up yourself, Carol. You're going to have to fight him on his terms and on his turf. And especially when the American government says we're not entering this debacle. When he says we're not going there, that for him, it's Christmas. He can celebrate because it's like I don't have to do. Yes, the American government will probably send some advisors. Will send equipment. In fact, I heard that the two Chinook helicopters
in Jamaica, yes,
they were training Jamaicans on flying them.
Yes,
for the Haitian mission. That's what I heard.
They're gonna fly those helicopters from Jamaica to Haiti.
Yeah, but I mean, look, but they're going to be carrying troops because I don't see it's going to be urban warfare, and I don't know how you're going to fight that war, and you're at a disadvantage because you don't know the place, you don't understand the language. It's going to be hard to identify the bad guys because guess what? You're talking about a civilian population. This is not a traditional war where I have on a blue uniform and you have on pick a color, a pink uniform, and so we're gonna be there fighting against each other. This is different. So now you have to decide for now who is friend and who is foe. It's gonna be difficult. So
yes. Those are the people going to come on pretty soon at 7 o'clock to speak to us about the cost of selling your vote in Jamaica. There's two Jamaican politicians who spoke about that. We're going to speak about that pretty soon. Lady and gentlemen, we'll be with you in a couple of minutes. Just bear with us, please. We have a topic that we're dealing with right now. We're going to have you on at 7 o'clock. Just bear with us. It's now 6:46. And we're speaking about what is going on in Haiti. I see Mr. Rattigan smiling away. I must say good evening to some people, who
Oh, but what do you think? Go ahead, please.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I just want to tell the folks that last week Saturday we had a program that it tore me up. We had a the young lady.
By
Who,
the way, I know that lady. You know, I have a number for her.
okay, I
The
spoke to
same one
her.
who called? You spoke to her?
Yeah, I spoke to her. Spoken
Good.
to her twice. Yeah,
That's good.
she's actually watching right now.
Yes,
But
yes.
the it tore us up, man. She made an impassioned plea on behalf of all of Jamaica. And the program was, we were hoping to end the program at 8 o'clock. How we go from 3 to 8 because the Kevin, as everybody knows, is the technical person behind the whole thing. Kevin has a program on Reggae Global, the same radio station I'm on. He comes on at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10. So from 3 to 8, I'm on Reggae Global and also on YouTube. But at 8 o'clock, my program ends on Reggae Global and it's exclusively on YouTube. So Kevin, he'll leave. So I try to leave when Kevin's leaving for fear that I'll run into technical issues and I won't have anybody to help me. So what happened with that was we were hoping to finish at 8 o'clock and we went to 11 because of the phone calls, and we had one phone call after another describing the plight of the Jamaican people and the just the hardships, or as we say, the vicissitudes of life in Jamaica. It's just difficult. Now, this Saturday, I was hoping not to do a marathon, but it will be a marathon, I can tell you. See, Carol said she was crying. It's going to be a marathon because we're going to be doing a program, a segment called The Prime Minister, Corruption, and the Integrity Commission. And we're going to go through
a very nice topic.
Yeah, and we're going to go through the Integrity Act. We're going to go through a case involving the Prime Minister. We're going to go through all the players, what they did and what they didn't do. And we're going to talk about the results. We're also planning to bring on some folks who, when traveled from Canada to Jamaica, got sick or got injured and almost died because of the poor medical services there, and they had to rush back to Canada.
Wow.
And there's another we're going to make a big announcement. We're planning a lawsuit. We're going to have a big announcement regarding the lawsuit, and it has to do with voting. So
yes,
we're going to explore
as you talk about voting now, Mr. Rattigan, let us cut the whole conversation about Haiti. We have some of our guests here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night. Good night. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Happy to have been invited.
Can you can we see camera? Can you come on camera? Is it possible?
Well, I'm not sure about Dijonais, but I'm actually just coming home from school.
Pardon me?
Can you guys hear me?
It's a bit low.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, a little better. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, sir. Oh Lord. The lone female in the group. Good evening to you. Okay, no one is saying anything to me. Mr. Rattigan. Yes, good evening. Can you come on camera too? Is it possible?
No, my background is not very appropriate at the moment, so I'd rather not.
Welcome. Tell us who you are, please.
I am Dijonais Fagan, a member of the Jamaican Association for Debate and Empowerment Secondary Level Gold Club.
Yes, welcome to the program. We're going to speak about the cost of selling votes in Jamaica. Your views on Jamaica's election?
In terms of what exactly? The results or what?
Well, in terms of the whole entire thing, the results and how it happened, and because there is two prominent politicians who are saying that people are coming up to them and saying to them, listen, you got to give us some money for our vote. Your views and all of that.
Well, I'm not sure if all the persons who voted were paid off to vote. I can't say that because I don't know.
Right.
However, what I do know is that I have heard it being a common notion that persons have sold their vote, or that politicians have bought the votes of constituents. For
Mhm.
example, in my community, I hear them saying all the time that when I see the campaigning going on, I hear
Mhm.
them saying that the persons who are around the vehicles, both colors, they are only there because they have been paid $2,000 or $5,000 for their votes. So I really don't know, but it's
Mhm.
something that I think is worth looking into,
Mhm.
since it is something that is commonly being stated.
Mhm. Sabrina, welcome to the program.
Hello, good
Hello.
night. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Can you come on camera, Sabrina, or not? Oh Lord, I think your camera thing is well. Sabrina, I know you have to go anytime soon. You can't stay with us because you have other engagement. Your views on our topic tonight. Are you hearing me? Okay, we're not hearing her. Mr. Rattigan, you there with us?
Yes.
Oh,
Mm.
good night, everyone. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes, better now, Mr. Matthew.
All
Matthew,
right.
tell us who you are.
Right. So I am also with the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, particularly the secondary level Goal Club, which is a group for the best debaters on the island, secondary level, and the president. And I'm happy to be here to talk to you on this topic.
Your volume is a bit low. I can hardly hear. Mr. Rattigan, can you hear him? Anyway, can you tell us what is your views on the local government election, and also I'm pretty much sure you heard about people talking about vote buying.
Mhm. So I have to say that I'm not surprised at the general conduct of the election, in as much as a lot of young people, a lot of people in general would have expected there to be one extremely low voter turnout, because the voter apathy has been well documented and reported on. Okay, but also I think there's very little to say when it comes to vote buying, because empirically it is wrong. Empirically it is wrong. There is no democratic society that can comfortably function whilst also admitting, quite happily, I should say, that vote buying is a common thing, a payola is a common thing. And there is a disconnect when it comes to the values and principles of both parties and, the reality of the situation. Because it cannot be that, you know, a number of high ranking political officials can attest to the fact that they have seen, vote buying happening. However, there is no sort of admission from any member of any party that it happens at all, or that they've endorsed, or that they've
Mhm.
participated in it. So there's a disconnect there. And so the question is, how do we bridge that gap? One large group says it exists, another large group says it exists, but there's a miscommunication or a breakdown when it comes to how exactly it comes to be.
Mhm. We have joining us Herb Nelson Jr. Mr. Nelson,
Yes, sir.
we were talking about um Haiti's crisis, but we have to switch gear because some of the people who are on the platform have to go. So I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you this question, Mr. Nelson. Your views on the cost of selling votes in Jamaica. Your views on the recent local government election.
Well, the recent local government election surprised us at the lack of any real violence. I think there were maybe two incidents, and the most serious one was finding a dead body near some polling station. But for the most part, the vote buying continued from the 2020 elections from the by-elections, as a matter of fact, for Mrs. Vaz into the 2020 elections. And so pretty much this is something where law enforcement has failed to act. The evidence is out there. They've got close-up of vehicles. They've got close-up of people going up to the vehicles in varying degrees of colors, orange colors, and they're coming away from the vehicle sticking their hands in their pockets. Now, if that's not a big tip-off, I don't know what is. But the bottom line is the vote buying is there, and that the ombudsman that is coming in now to take that position has to speak up and has to make it very clear to both parties that vote buying is not kosher. It's not something that they're going to turn a blind eye to, and that they need to have some kind of sanctions on the parties that engage in this. And they need to really put the police to work and breaking this up, right?
But Mr. Nelson, a lot of Jamaicans are saying that this has been going on from Wapi killed Philip and Philip dead long time, where these politicians go around. It is alleged that they go around and buy votes. Now, when you hear Minister of Constitution Affairs, Maureen Malou Fort, saying that it shocked her when somebody came up to her and said to her that, Madam MP, you have to give me some money for my vote, you know.
I don't know why it would shock her, because it's very commonplace, especially among the Labour Party. And so for it to shock her, she might have been living under a rock someplace, which to me is just about impossible. Anybody who watches the news from the 2020 elections till now is fully aware that vote buying occurred on a massive scale, especially by the ruling party. So there should be no shock to anybody that it is occurring.
Mr. Bennett, welcome to the program, sir. Is it Barrett or Bennett?
It's Barrett. Hello.
Barrett, rather. Welcome
thank you
to the
very much
program,
for having
sir.
me.
Your views, tell us who you are, please.
So I'm Jermaine Barrett. I'm the founder and the executive director of the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. It's a long name, so we go by the acronym JADE. That's a shortened version of it. And so my work sees me doing a lot of empowerment and capacity building, particularly of young people across Jamaica. And so I'm happy to be here, listening to the conversation, and I may share a view or so as the program progresses.
Yes, I want your views on the topic tonight, the real cost of selling votes in Jamaica. It is alleged all the time that Jamaican politicians will give people money to vote.
Right.
And in this recent local government election, you hear people talking, even two politicians came out and said that their constituency members came up to them and said to them, hey, MP, if I give us some money and I get no vote, you know.
It's a troubling trend, and as I heard the goodly gentleman saying before when I came on, it's a part of the political tradition and culture of Jamaica, unfortunately, and it's something that needs to be gotten rid of quite quickly. We see the problem with vote buying is that it really reflects a citizenry that just is unaware of the power that they wield. And so when they simply give up that power by virtue of selling their votes, it really is them saying, I really don't care about engaging and holding my political leaders accountable. Because when a vote is sold, that person oftentimes is not somebody who is committed to, assessing, critiquing, understanding what it is that they are being provided with in terms of governance. And so it does reflect poorly on government as a whole, because ultimately a government brought into power within such a context is going to be a government that doesn't find a need to hold themselves accountable, to hold themselves to high standards. Because especially when it is that they recognize that they came into power. I'm not saying, I don't know what the empirical evidence is as to whether or not the JLP or the PNP does it more, but what I do know, anecdotally at least, is that it is done. And so when political officials are brought into power because of vote buying, then they have no sense of obligation to maintain high levels of performance in the service of the people thereafter.
Yeah. Sabrina, are you there with us now? Oh Lord, she's gone again. Let's go over back to Mr. Rattigan. Mr. Rattigan, you hail from Waterhouse, a Jamaican who probably everybody would love to see in a public office in Jamaica. You have heard about vote buying, and you're way older than me.
Careful, Jeffrey.
You know, your views on this. I mean, when you're growing up in Jamaica, you heard about this vote buying thing. I'm going to come to Sabrina. Oh, Mr. Rattigan, hold a minute for me, please. Let I go back to Sabrina, because I know Sabrina has to go anytime soon. Sabrina, welcome back to the program. How are you doing? Your views on the idea of people selling votes in Jamaica and the Jamaican people collecting money for their vote. Unmute your mic for me. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good night. Are you able to hear me?
Loud and clear from Negril Point to Moran Point.
Hello, good night. So I really think that it has shown how the Jamaican people are yet to acknowledge the power that they have as a people. I mean, we are owners of Jamaica as Jamaican citizens, and the fact that you would sell your vote means that you don't understand that your vote is your voice. If we're living in a participatory democracy, it means that our voices collectively should be what runs the country. So imagine we're given this right that persons would have fought for back then when adult suffrage was a thing, that persons used to have land to actually have a right, and the fact that we got this right and we're selling it out. It shows the level of education that we need to have with the Jamaican citizenry, and how we need to empower them to understand that their vote is their voice, and their vote is not just something that they can sell out to get some monetary value from, but the persons who they elect to represent them. And the actual democratic system is actually something serious. At a point in our democracy where we're actually selling out votes, I actually thought vote buying was illegal. So I think we need to reach to a stage where Jamaican citizens can actually understand their vote and their voice.
Before I go to anybody else, Sabrina, do you believe that Jamaicans know the role of the local government, of their councils and mayors? Sabrina, are you there? What's going on here? Oh, she not. Mr. Rattigan, you hearing me?
Yeah.
What's going on? Well, let's go back to Mr. Rattigan. You grew up in Waterhouse, Mr. Rattigan, and I'm pretty much sure you're older than me. I'll go back to that thing again. You have been hearing about vote buying in Jamaica, and I find it very hypocritical when you have politicians saying that, is the new norm now. The new norm where? They're the one who put it to the Jamaican people from Wappy Philip. So obviously the young people of Jamaica now is turning the scamming back on them. Your mic is muted.
Let me just start by saying that vote buying is illegal under Section 91 of the Representation of the People Act. It's completely legal. The second issue is enforcement. We don't see it. You don't see that law being enforced. And I agree with the speakers, Jermaine and Sabrina, everything they've said about what it reflects. It reflects an abnormal uh, norm, so to speak, because people died for us to have this right to vote, and here it is that we're selling it for the equivalent of 32 American dollars. Um, it's just sad, and people have strayed away from holding their elected officials accountable. I guess because they now feel that it's pointless because you know there is no way they're going to be able to hold them accountable because things have gotten way out of hand. The idea that we are the bosses, we are the ones who put those people there to represent us. That idea is anachronistic. It's old. It's behind us. People don't feel that way anymore because
Mm.
street politicians. Can you hear me, Jeffrey?
Yes,
Can you hear
yes, I
me?
hear you now.
Yeah, there's
Go ahead.
something wrong with the system here. Yeah. So no wonder you have what the voting in these elections. They range anywhere from 29 to well 32% of the um, of the eligible voters, and no matter how much public service announcements, and I've seen many trying to encourage people to vote because voting and elections they have consequences. People are not hearkening to that message, and if you show up with a two-piece chicken, a t-shirt, and
Mhm.
wrapped in that t-shirt you have a 5 grand or 10 grand, then that's it. you know
Mm.
and I've seen in fact just for this election I've seen videos where people have said, hey, I'm selling my vote to the highest bidder, whoever can come and bid the highest for my vote, and that's it. Sad but true.
Mm. Is Miss Fagan, is this a country that they talk about a 2030 vision that you want to live in?
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
And do you believe that Jamaica has a 2030 vision, Miss Fagan? With this electoral system where a lot of Jamaicans are still saying that the electoral office of Jamaica has failed the democracy of Jamaica when it comes on to the last local government election on February 26th?
No, I think we are very far away from Vision 2030. I don't think there will be any Vision 2030. Come to think of it.
Mm. So, Jermaine,
Yes.
you're on the grounds in Jamaica
Mm.
and you see what is going on in the country. Do you believe that Jamaicans really want to vote in an election in the country? 29% of Jamaicans voted in this local government election. It has 2 million Jamaicans eligible to vote. 29% is what, 500,000 people voted?
Approximately that, about 488,000, I think, is the exact number.
Yes.
Yes. Well, when I look at the levels of engagement and excitement leading up to these local government elections, even as a public commentator, expressed anticipation that the turnout will be significantly more. The norm has been over the last several decades that local government elections don't excite people enough, but this one billed as a referendum, particularly of the administration, and a lot of the issues being discussed were really central government issues. And so the anticipation was that people would turn out, but then here we are faced with the reality of a 29% voter turnout. It's dismal, and I don't know that Jamaicans understand well enough how much of a tragedy that is with respect to the democracy. You see, people like us in intelligent circles ban the word democracy and transparency and accountability about, because we understand what these things are, but I find that we need to kind of really break it down. We need to talk about things in the language that people understand. Like, for example, thief. Yes, that is thief. The politician them thief, and how it is that when them thief your money, that is why your road can't fix. and when you go to the hospital, you can't get proper hospital care, and all of those things. We have to break it down in a way that people understand. But to go back to your question, are people likely to vote? Are people interested to vote? No, because people don't know what they're voting for. And that is why we're now confronted with this reality of people voting, selling their votes to the highest bidder because they don't understand, one, the importance of the vote. They don't understand the context that have brought them to a point where they are now enfranchised to vote. And also, they don't see what it is that politicians are doing for them to uplift their lives such that they would be genuinely motivated to go out and vote.
Let me ask
Wow.
Jermaine a question,
Go ahead,
if you
sir. Go
don't
ahead.
mind.
I was going to ask
Yes.
you to jump in.
Jermaine,
Go ahead.
Yes.
Jermaine, it sounds to me like you're saying that because you say it's dismal, and if I listen to the words that you're using, it sounds hopeless. Would you make an argument for a viable third party then?
Yes, I think we need to break out of this chokehold that exists in Jamaica, where we are beholden, enslaved even to the PNP and JLP. I don't know how we'll get there. And one has to also understand that, particularly in developing nation states such as Jamaica, it is the norm that people's appreciation of political engagement is such that it is hard to get them to understand what politicians ought to be doing for them and potentially create a space in their thinking to accommodate a third party. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. Furthermore, Jamaican elections are becoming heavily, very expensive undertakings. And the business class is not likely to put their money behind a third party to any real extent, such that that third party will have a viable chance. So for now, regrettably, what we have to do is to push and force and fight with the two dominant parties, the JLP and PNP, to get better results in terms of governance from them. But I would love to see a Jamaica where a third party comes on the stream that is truly viable. The last time we had one was the NDM when Bruce Golding founded it, and we've never had a similar development in Jamaica.
They just
Go
had,
ahead, Mr. Rattigan. Go ahead.
no, they just had an alliance of 5 parties. I don't know if you're aware of it. And what are your thoughts on that? Because now it's not just one party, it's 5 groups getting together and saying, look, we think we might be the alternative to what we have now.
Again, I'm not aware of the alliance. I know, for example, of the UIC and the we have the Marcus Garvey Party. We have the NDM
That's
still existing, and a few others may exist. What I think that we definitely need more options. We need by virtue. It's just like in business, if you know that you're operating a business and you listen, it is just you and the other Chinaman are halfway across the road. You don't have much competition, so you don't have to serve and provide good service, good quality service to the people, your customers. But when you have multiple competitors who are really, really pressing you, you have to monitor your cost, your service delivery, and all those kind of stuff. And I think that kind of context is also transferable to political parties, where the more political parties you have, is the more there's going to be an effort, a genuine effort on the part of at least the dominant one to win more of the votes by virtue of proving to the people that they are in fact deserving of their votes and their confidence.
Mr. Rattigan, you have any more questions? You can go ahead,
no, you're a program man.
No, I mean, you're posting with me. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, because I just find it interesting that Jermaine, I don't know how old you are, but based on what Jeffrey said, I think I'm much older.
I'm 35, a middle-aged man.
All right, so you could be Jeffrey's son then. See, and Jeffrey says I'm older than him, so I don't know if that means he would be my grandson. I don't know. But I have a program called Reason with Rattigan on Saturdays from 3 until people decide to leave our, last Saturday it went from 3 to 11, 8 hours straight.
Wow.
And I had on occasionally, and it's becoming more of a regular feature. I have young people on, people in university or people who recently graduated from university and they're trying to establish themselves
Mhm.
in the working world. And I'm telling you that, just like what Sabrina just said, they're painting a very bleak picture of Jamaica, a picture where they don't see any hope. For example, one young man said to me, "Look, I want to start a family, I want to start a home, but I won't be able to get a home from NHT simply because of the way it's structured." So he said it's based on your investment in the system, and most of the people getting the allocation of homes, they have been in the system for a long time. So you find that they're people in their late 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s. He said nobody in the 20s, nobody at 25 or whatever, they're getting a home. So we have to rent, and rent is taking out a huge chunk out of the slightly above minimum wage that we're making. So I mean, and I heard what Sabrina said, and I'm just reaching out to you young people. You already say you're a middle year, you're still a young man, but I mean,
Mhm.
how do you how, how do you how will you make ends meet? Assuming that you can't leave Jamaica, right? And you have to
Mm.
stay there and you have to vote. How do you make ends meet?
You know, if I'm a typical young Jamaican struggling to make ends meet, realizing that as hard as I'm working, I'm not going to likely be able to buy a house anytime now, or so, I am likely to turn to some illicit activity. So that is one of the reasons why scamming and theft and all sorts of skullduggery is just so popular on the island, because I don't think that a young person genuinely wants to resort to crime as a first resort. I think
Mm,
that many of them are pushed into it out of sheer survival. And I'm not saying that that justifies it, yes?
right.
But we have to understand the value system that we're operating with. The value system is, and the context is a context where through the various channels, the media, your phone, whatever it is that you're using to peer into the world at large, you're seeing the Jones with their big houses and their fancy cars, but you're poor and you're working hard and you're not making any progress towards becoming like the Jones. And with the deterioration of morals within the society combined, coupled with that reality, people just resort to all sorts of dog eat dog
Mm.
kind of approach, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're seeing. And so I would resort to that. I've been living in Jamaica for 35 years now, and I'm faced with the same harsh realities. But because of my own family and how it is that I was brought up, and the values that were embedded within me, which are far and few in between in terms of what exists elsewhere on the island, quite frankly, I've made a choice not to. But I tell you, it's hard. It's very, very hard. One of the things that really insulates me as well is the fact that I have been blessed with uh, a good education. Yes, something that too few of my Jamaican brothers and sisters have, and so that kind of gives me a capacity to resist the urge to do those kinds of things. But
Mhm.
sadly, that's not the reality for most.
Let me ask Sabrina. Sabrina, the same question Mr. Rattigan asked Jermaine a while ago. Your views on that?
I actually agree with Mr. Barrett. When it comes to living in Jamaica and how you're able to sustain your livelihood, it's actually very hard. But I remember as a young person, I'm just 18, so the fact that I'm in high school and I'm looking at persons my age and older within the youth category, I understand that you have to be intrinsically motivated to actually want something better for yourself and your country. And I mean, it always come back to patriotism too, because it's not necessarily what Jamaica can do for you, but what you can do for your country, and you will get the returns from it. just doing anything that is volunteerism, sometimes that too can bring about opportunities for you as a young person to grow and to find new people to network and to actually build yourself outside of the actual status quo. So it's really hard. That's what the status quo is right now. But I think also your perspective has a lot to do with it and your mindset and what you actually want. A lot of Jamaicans are not driven. A lot of young Jamaicans are not intrinsically motivated and would like to, push themselves better. Some sociologists will talk about, some false class consciousness where one person is just trapped in a certain stratification where they don't believe that there's a broader world outside of it. We see poverty that rips the fabric of our country. And that's something that's always going to be existent because a lot of young persons don't understand that there's something bigger outside of what they're actually living in. So I feel like it has to do with how they perceive the country and how they perceive their life in the next, years and years to come, and how they actually try to do things to better themselves too. Because we do hear of the success stories of young persons who would have lived in poverty and would have bought their own house and, got stuff and lived their dream. But how many can we actually account for? So it really has to do with how we're actually grooming the young people and their perspective on what the Jamaica is currently and how they can better the country and themselves.
Matthew?
Sabrina.
Oh. Go ahead, Will.
Sabrina, you said a few things that I just need to unpack. You mentioned the word patriotism, and you also mentioned the words broader world. Now, let's take broader world in a literal sense. I'm going to ask you this. Given the fact that you mentioned patriotism, if the gates of Jamaica were open to you today to leave, to go anywhere you want to go, given the situation in Jamaica now, would you stay or would you leave?
I would stay. I'm staying and I have opportunities where I could leave. I plan to study here. I plan to work here. So I'm staying. I don't
Outstanding.
know how many of my counterparts would, but I am staying.
Well, look, God bless you, and I wish you all the best, and whatever we can do to support you. No, seriously, I wasn't being facetious. I really mean it because we need people like you with that hopeful spirit, who, despite the vicissitudes, you figure that okay, you know what, there is something here. This is my place, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make it work. But like you said, I have this suspicion that most people, once the gates are open, they would flee. And I said flee, meaning that they're not even wasting any time. Once again, them going right through it. No second thoughts.
Yeah.
Jermaine, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I share a similar view, but when I talk with my peers, person in their 30s and so forth, they laugh at me and say, you can go and talk, right? I do a podcast, not a podcast, I share some of my reflections on a radio station from time to time. And the last episode, I spoke about this question of patriotism, nationalism, and so forth. And a lot of persons tap me and say, sounds good, inspirational, but that is for you, right? I think we have to appreciate that we're faced with a new cultural context that is different from even generations before me, like yourselves. Yes, where you would have grown up with the ideology behind, being a proud Jamaican. When I come to Florida and the United States, for example, I get the sense that Americans are by and large divided and conflicted, but they are proud to be Americans. Yes, we don't have that kind of national identity except when one of our athletes do well on the track and field, or there's some big significant occasion for celebrating. But beyond that, we're just a group of persons trapped on an island, desperate to leave by and large. And so when I hear people like Sabrina say, she is committed to this project we call Jamaica, it warms my heart. And I want to hear more young persons speak like her. But unfortunately, as I move about and interact with young persons, those perspectives are far and few in between, unfortunately.
Wow. We want to welcome Finzi Smith. But before we go to Major Finch Smith, Matthew, you're quiet. Ms. Ferguson, you're quiet. Matthew, your views on what the question Mr. Rattigan just asked a while ago. Do you believe that you would stay in Jamaica?
I personally, yeah, I'm also one of those persons that would choose to stay in Jamaica. And my personal philosophy is this: I would not feel comfortable having to immigrate to a country to claw and scrape and carve out a space for myself where I can, live comfortably and make the sort of impact I want to. When somebody else that, was born in that country can just step outside their door one day, and claim the exact same mistakes I've claimed, right? I want to be able to make a unique, indelible impact in that country that I am from, because it's my birthright. I feel like being born Jamaican is such an amazing and unique thing that such a very few group of people can claim. That would just be ludicrous to give it up for no reason.
Mm.
You know what?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
All right. This Major Finch Smith, welcome, sir. Good to see you. But let me throw this out to Sabrina, Jermaine, and Matthew.
And also you have the other young lady there too.
The Janae. The Janae. Make the argument for leaving Jamaica.
Did Janae? You want to answer that one first?
Can you repeat that, please?
We have heard from three of your colleagues, Sabrina, Jermaine, and Matthew, and they've made the argument that they're staying, despite whether if the gates were open tomorrow and said, leave, go anywhere you want to go in this world. The gates open, you're free to go. And they've said, no, we're staying. So I'm asking the reverse now. Can you make the argument for leaving Jamaica?
Like Jermaine, Sabrina, and Matthew, I'm also a very patriotic person who would never leave Jamaica for the world. But since I've been asked to make an argument for leaving Jamaica, what I will say is that poverty sucks and it stinks. When you are in poverty and you are trying to crawl out or to claw your way out, it sometimes seems as though it's literally an impossible reality. It's like you are trying to uplift yourself, you're trying to create your own opportunities and your own possibilities, but it's as if society and what exists right now is fighting you down. It's as if like there is not much support. It's as if it's basically impossible, as I said before. For example, if you would want to further your studies, like after you leave high school, you pursue a tertiary education, then perhaps you are not able to find enough scholarship opportunities in order to pursue that tertiary education. And if qualified persons and overqualified persons are not able to find sustainable jobs or jobs that match their qualifications, then just imagine a person who is not qualified. So my argument for leaving Jamaica, if I was looking toward that direction, then it would be to leave in order to better myself, in order to come back and then build up Jamaica, make my contribution toward nation building.
I like your answer. I really do. I really do. Jermaine, Matthew, Sabrina.
Well, if you look and analyze when it comes to the political leadership of our country and just how we see the injustice and corruption sometimes, why would I stay in a country that doesn't actually have me as a sovereign voice? We are 61 years and we're yet to be that Jamaica that actually truly cherishes the power of the people. Why would I stay in a country for so long when I can't actually contribute directly to policies? I can't contribute directly as civil society or just as a Jamaican to how I would like my country to see. We talk about Jamaica being a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. That's a collective vision statement. That is not one green party or an orange party. It's how Jamaicans can come together. And if we have such a low voter turnout, such a neglectful citizenry that doesn't understand what it means to be owners of Jamaica and not just persons who walk through like consumers, then it shows that our political destiny and leadership is not at a very bright place. So I definitely would want to see more when it comes to how we lead and what politics looks like in our country and the leadership of our country, because that's actually the steering of how the direction of our country will go to. So I do agree with the sentiments of Bijani that leave and then show them how you actually run a country, how you actually encounter with the people, because our government can also be a reflection of the people. The fact that they feel like their voices are neglected, then our government actually just doesn't cater for the voices any at all.
Wow.
Can I just weigh in there on that one?
Hold on there. What? You're having a Okay, that Sabrina was having that. Mr. Nelson, you there with us? Jermaine, have you answered Jermaine, your turn. Unmute your mic.
He's still muted.
Okay, go ahead now, Jermaine.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you now.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you very much. So as a human being, fundamentally my greatest obligation to myself is self-preservation. And the most important aspect of self-preservation is staying alive. My prospects of staying alive is relatively low in Jamaica as compared to other countries of the world. Jamaica ranks as a very, very murderous country. I think we're about third in the world in terms of our homicide rate. Over 40 out of every 100,000 Jamaicans die on an annual basis. That is a frightening statistic. And so my motivation for wanting to leave Jamaica and go somewhere where the murder rate is much lower is to enhance my chances, not just to flourish economically and socially, but just to live.
Can you hear me? Yeah. No?
Yes.
Yeah. Some I'm looking at the chat and some people don't understand the nature of the question because you guys are from a debating society or team. Am I correct?
Yes, we're debaters.
Okay. And one of the thing about debating is that you're supposed to be able to argue both sides of an issue. Right? And so the question is, okay, what would keep, why would you want to stay in Jamaica? And then the other side is, why would you want to leave? So for those of you in the chat who don't understand, maybe you shouldn't be in the chat, because what we're getting both sides of an argument here on a very important issue, right? We're talking to young people and we're talking about the future of Jamaica. And so it's important for us to hear the considerations that go into wanting them to continue to be patriotic and remain in Jamaica, as well as and I mean I've written down the answers that, and you've given, all three of you so far, you've given great answers. I mean, Bijani said, look, I would leave, but I would leave with the idea of returning to use the skill sets that I've developed overseas and whatever else I've developed overseas to bring that to Jamaica. And that's the message of Vision 2030 to the diaspora. It's saying, look, come back to Jamaica, make Jamaica a place for you to return to live, to do business, to raise a family. And they didn't say this part, but I'll say it, and to die. A lot of diasporans are saying, we don't want to be buried here. We want to go back home to where we belong. So for those of you who don't understand the nature of the questions, maybe you should tune into Reason with Rattigan on a Saturday, and you will get a comprehensive look at how we conduct business, because we don't lean to one side, we lean all over the place, we zigzag, but there's a method to our madness. Jeffrey, over to you, son.
Can I?
No,
Can
go ahead, Jermaine.
Right. There's another in my mind compelling reason for me wanting to leave, if I wanted to leave, that is, and clearly none of us here are desirous of leaving. We might want to go to, for example, the United States for a little vacation every now and again, or to do some shopping, but definitely we want Jamaica to be our home. But as I speak with, so I'm from a community, I'm from the disabled community, the disabilities community. I'm blind, I'm physically disabled in multiple ways. And when I speak with my friends who are disabled, and the level of despondency and desperation that they experience in their daily lives, it is mind-boggling. I recently became blind, and I now walk with a cane. And some of the things that able-bodied people take for granted in Jamaica, you're walking on the sidewalk and just it's moving, you're just stepping. The infrastructure is just not constructed to accommodate people with disabilities like mine, and it is hard. It is hard in the extreme. And when I travel to the United States, I'm not saying it is perfectly fine, but it's far easier, far more accommodating. Taking public transportation, for example, in the United States, it is so much more convenient. Yes, their society is constructed to accommodate people with disabilities. And so my dream is for a Jamaica that is far more accommodating, far more considerate of people with disabilities. We recently passed the Disabilities Act. It now needs to be made practical. One of the aspects of the act is that you need to, as somebody renting a house or operating a facility for the public, you must have ramps, you must have handrails, you must have all of these kinds of things. But I'm not seeing fast enough movements for these things to be implemented. And so that I find to be quite frustrating, because when I travel overseas, or I go overseas, or I experience the first world, it's just appalling, just very sad.
Jeffrey, let me just say that I have a very significant person who lives in the diaspora, and that person is asking for the contact information for the young people on the panel. She said,
I would
it says the young
definitely
people who want to stay in Jamaica, and that is everyone. So I'll if they don't mind,
if they don't mind, I'm pretty much
just
sure they
look at
don't
me
mind me to
afterwards.
give it. Yes, I can give it off air. I hope they don't mind, Jermaine, Matthew, and everybody. You don't mind me giving your contact numbers off air?
No problem.
I don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
Thank you. We're gonna close this segment and make way for a different segment with Finzi Smith, Herb Nelson Jr., Wilfred Rattigan, and myself. Any closing remarks from the young people on this platform?
Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
Before you close, can I say something?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
You see, some of the so-called depressed areas in Jamaica, you know why they stay depressed? Because the people who make it move out of them and go somewhere else, uptown or whatever, and settle there. So they leave what they consider to be their unpleasant past. Don't use any of their new resources to try and improve where they grow up. They're so far trying to get away from it. You'll be amazed. Why am I saying that? Because the same thing happens when people get up and left Jamaica. We don't stay here and try build what we're trying to fix. We run away from it and then want to come back and get involved with it. And it will be a lot easier if you use your skills to build where you come from. And then you'll have people who will resent you because whilst they've been here suffering their hardships, you've been abroad in their mind living milk and honey, which is not necessarily true. And come back home now to use your newfound wealth to take over what they have been slaving with all the years you have been away. That is some of the attitude they have. So what you need to pick up in your mind is, how do I control? What is my target when I leave Jamaica? What is my target? I am coming back to do that. When you come back, you have to do it in the area in which, in my mind, that you grew up. Other than that, you have just abandoned where you grew up to another set of people like you. That's my 10 cents.
Yes. Mr. Nelson?
Yes, it's good to hear Major Smith, Finzi Smith, address that. Another part that I have had the pleasure talking to people and they're addressing, young people are not as into the contracting and procurement world as their older counterparts, right? What has been happening is the older counterparts have a well-established lineage of winning contracts. They put in for 20 contracts and they win half of them, right? Young people have not caught on to that aspect of business, largely because the people on the government side, all hell.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that.
Okay, the people on the government side have consistently partnered with the what we call the client patron system, right? They know who their benefactors are, but that is changing, because what I was told last night is that the young people on the inside, government side, are looking at these contracts, the proposals as well as bids, and they are teaming up with others on the outside to be able to perform these contracts or these bids. And so before the contract has a chance to be awarded to the older class people, they already have grabbed parts of it and are running with it, and they're getting paid to do that. So they're beginning to break up the monopoly that the older class folks has. And in doing so, this left-wing, right-wing attitude towards governance and stuff, they ignore that for the most part because they realize it's a negative. So they're going after things by having friends on both sides of the coin. Whether you're GLP or PNP, don't matter to them. They're about progress. And that is an outstanding feature of young people in this country. Right? So you can say that it's some changing of the guard has begun to occur.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. I'm going to ask the young people on the platform here your closing remarks, and we're going to say thank you all for coming on, but your closing remarks, Jermaine, first. Go ahead.
As I have matured into middle age, I don't consider myself very young right now, 35. But as I've gotten to this stage, I've come to really appreciate that despite the innumerable things that are wrong with my country, there are countless things that are right and worth fighting for. You see, the countries that we look on with envy, the United States, Britain, and so forth, we know their history. Theirs is a history of exploitation, expropriation from countries like ours. So while they were getting rich, we were being sapped of our wealth and made poor. That's the reality. So while we pour scorn on our political leaders and we demand more of them, and we should also have that context in mind. I think, for example, of our neighbors, Haiti, that's now going through to say it's a civil war is an understatement. But they are really, really ripping themselves apart. And their history, is one that really reflects, again, them fighting for their rights and attaining their independence in defiance of the colonial powers, only for the colonial powers to turn around and relegate them to the kind of desperate state that they find themselves in continuously. And it's not to say that a lot of what happens isn't their own doing, but fundamentally, it's externalities that are at play. And I think a lot of what we experience in Jamaica as well, we must call it for what it is. That the global north has made us poorer, has made us weaker. When we got independence in 1962, we were a weak, poor country. Yes? And unfortunately, for the 60 odd years of our independence, we haven't done enough with the limited resources that we had. Yes? And so we have to hold them accountable. So my reason for having hope in Jamaica is that Jamaica has had hope in me. Jamaica invested in me. My education, my healthcare, limited and deficient as it is because my country invested in me. And so when I interact with young people and I hear them say, boy, I'm ready to leave, I say, just when you get to the point of making a productive investment in the society, you're going to take the investment that the society made in you and you're going to jet sail overseas to a developed nation state and invest in them. I said, does that make sense? Is that fair? If your parent, for example, having invested with you for the 18 or 20 odd years of your life, and you say, well, mommy and daddy, you give me health, you give me education, you give me food, everything that I need, and I'm now ready to reinvest in you. Now you are weakened by virtue of your investment in me, but me gone. Is that fair? I don't think it is.
Yes.
And because I've come to that realization, I'm committed, despite the hardship, despite the agony, to play my part in building my own nation state. Yes. Jamaica is a country I love dearly, and I will be here until I die. Building.
Yes, Mr. Will?
No, before they go, I tell you something that's even worse than what Jermaine talked about when he said, people invest in you and then you run away, you leave Jamaica, and then another country benefits from the investment and the education that you received in Jamaica. I'll tell you what's even worse. What's even worse is that there are lots of Jamaican students with outstanding loans that are living overseas. And the Jamaican government has done nothing to repatriate those funds. Zero. And there are people here, when I say here, meaning in the diaspora, who'd be willing to seek out those funds and have them repatriated to the Jamaican government so that they can turn those funds over and help other students. So maybe that's another discussion, but something that you should think about. And if you can raise it with the powers that be, raise it, please.
Yeah.
Well, I have a meeting soon with the Minister of Education, so I'm going to raise it with her.
Thanks.
And her team. Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Fergan? Unmute your mic for me, please, ma'am. Go. Unmute the mic again, please, because you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
So in closing, I'd like to share a quote that my principal once shared with me. He stated that without vision, the people perish. This is something that we often hear. However, without people, the vision perishes. We have the vision. We have Vision 2030. We have big dreams, but we don't have anyone to fulfill those dreams. Why? Because as a society, we are indeed patriotic, because most Jamaicans of Jamaica, you see it in their behavior and the pride in which they take in the country. However, many of them are allergic to discipline, compliance with laws, and collective work. And that is why I think that is what stems our progress. So we need to understand that even though the big dreams are there, we need to learn how to work together in order to achieve sustainable development. We cannot sit down as the citizens of the country and expect the government to do everything. We need to work as well. We need to be an active part of the vision in order for it to be realized. That is what I'd like to leave this evening.
Thank you. Sabrina. Sabrina? Mr. Rattigan, you were saying something? Go ahead, Sabrina.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead,
Sabrina. All right. So in closing, I would just like to quote the most honorable Sir Patrick Allen when he stated that there's nothing wrong with Jamaica that what is right with Jamaica can't fix. In the face of all of our challenges, we should remember that we shouldn't lose sight of the greatness within us as Jamaicans and the potential of our actual country. We should remember that patriotism not only lies in how we have our culture, pride, and heritage, as Dejanay would have made mention, but it is in our commitment to making Jamaica better, and not just for ourselves, but for future generations. For us to just embrace what we can do and let us strive excellently in all that we do, whether it be in education, business, or in community service and volunteerism. We see where a lot of Jamaicans don't understand that volunteerism and patriotism, it's all tied into making Jamaica a better place. So we can understand that we are there for the persons who need us the most, and we have social equity amongst ourselves as Jamaicans. So above all, I just want to close with a call to action for young people to not lose hope, for us to believe in the potential that we have to overcome all these obstacles and these social issues, that Jamaica can be a better place and we can be proud of our Jamaican identity, and we can inspire other young people like ourselves to be a beacon of hope for our country. So together we can make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thank you.
Wow. That sounds like a future politician, Mr. Rattigan.
Yes, indeed.
Matthew, your closing remarks.
Yeah, your closing remarks. I'll be brief in consideration of time. What people have said. So I'm going to make my closing remarks on the original topic, which is the real cost of buying votes, and I'll leave you to think about it. Right? Yes. We're saying that 29% of the eligible electorate, right, of the eligible people in Jamaica voted. We have about roughly 3 million people, and about roughly 2 million are eligible to vote. 29% of those persons voted. And we've come to understand that a good portion of those persons have been influenced heavily in some way by cash or the sorts of benefits that come around generally during election periods. So who do we have left that actually voted? It's not very many people. And the very few people that did vote are people that just like to run up and down and enjoy bright colors. So where is the responsible electorate that is voting on issues? Where is the responsible civil society that is advocating and using the strongest levying power that the people have to vote? Where are those people? And how do we get them in the process of selecting the parliament, selecting the government?
Thank you very much, Matthew, Ms. Fagan, Jermaine, and Sabrina. Thank you all for coming on. I will speak to you off air to get your credentials. Jermaine, I'll speak to you off air to get the contact rather to give to Mr. Rattigan. Thank you very much for coming on. None of you, please, you all have my number. Do not be a stranger to the Make We Talk program. Do not be a stranger to the Reason with Rattigan program either, because I'm pretty much sure Mr. Rattigan would love to have you guys on. Thank you all very much for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to segue into a different program now with my good friends, Wilfred Rattigan, Herbert Nelson Jr., and also Major Robert Finzi Smith. The security of Haiti and the security of Jamaica. We're also going to speak about a video It was done by a former CNN reporter with the Jamaican ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Audrey Marks. We're going to speak about that too. Francis Smith, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Your views on what is going on in Haiti and would affect Jamaica with those amount of 4,000 Haitian criminals escape from the prison.
Wrong question.
Pardon me?
Wrong question.
Okay, go ahead then.
Question is, when will it? It's not will it.
When will it come to Jamaica?
Yes.
Well, yes, when will it come to Jamaica?
If it don't start already, how far away from us you think Haiti is?
About an hour away.
And with these speedboats running back and forth, and they have the capability to be using drones in their ongoing action there, they're not as ill-equipped as you would like to think. They could use places along the Jamaican coast as staging areas to re-attack Haiti. We're going to make the mistake of saying that we're going to assist in action in Haiti, which means that the people who want what they want in Haiti now regard us as an enemy. That never occurred to anybody. These guys use drones to coordinate the jailbreaks.
Wow.
Where do you think those drones come from? Same type of place that them use somebody's yacht and reportedly brought about 5 cases of AR-15s into this island with blue tip ammo. We have a habit in this country where we don't listen to old-time people talk. Cockroach no business of foul fight, you know.
In other words, you're saying that Jamaican business in Haiti's fight?
Not on that type of level.
Okay.
We have issues trying to control our own problems here without sufficient manpower to be able to do it effectively. Where are you going to find manpower to go drop in Haiti? Which parish are you sacrificing coverage in our current crime problem to take care of Haiti? When you have the grand United States just up the road, you have Kenya, who just passed legislation to try and allow them to send people in there. You have other Caribbean countries. I don't hear them rushing to jump on board. Why we suddenly want to be the sheriff of the Caribbean? Charity begins at home. We have people running up and down parts of this country with AR-15s and other such weapons at all hours of the day, shooting and killing people. And we don't have the answer for that, apparently. But we're going to find manpower to load up on some Chinooks and send into Haiti. The other thing that some people, you see, people must read. Haiti don't have an army, you know, unless they have developed one in the last little bit. To the best of my knowledge, Haiti does not have an army. The army was dissolved. Who you think the gangs are? Gangs are former army people, well trained, and now well armed. And we're going to push our nose into that without knowing how strong our coastline is. Am I the only person who said this? Will? Hello?
Wilfred Rattigan?
No, I can't improve upon anything that Bobby's just said. He's absolutely correct. Right on point.
We made a suggestion on this program some time ago to revert Vernon Field to its original purpose. Put a Black Hawk squadron in there and use it to help patrol our waters and respond to any offshore threats. We don't hear nothing. Nobody even look on us sideways.
Herbert Nelson Jr.
Yes, good evening to my fellow panelists. This Haiti thing is been festering and festering, and what Haiti represents is probably the largest entity within CARICOM. Haiti should be a lot more productive. They should be maybe going back to planting their rice and planting other crops that will feed the population. Because the population cannot afford the stuff being brought in from abroad. And, they should be able to help with food security in CARICOM. But we don't see that happening. It might take a cross application from the money that Guyana is earning to bring into the Haitian economy. And if that doesn't happen, then they could easily fall prey to the Chinese. China
Haiti
is doing well in Cuba because they've long been ignored. And I believe with the stuff that's going on in Haiti, it's untenable. It cannot continue this way. Now, a lot of people knock Ariel Henry. Well, Ariel Henry was continuing some of the policies that the assassinated president started, which was to look at all the contracting and procurement and to do something about those people who would dominate that area. Because that's how you get rich in Haiti. You do the supply and demand side, you attend to that, and you'll win a lot of contracts with US, Canadian, and other funds that's coming into the country. So when they looked at who's getting rich, the president was looking at who was doing the money laundering and the weapons, as well as the human and drug trafficking. And he was beginning to shut them down slowly. Well, Andre is doing the same thing that he started. Because in order to cleanse your country of the ills that infect your youth and infect your population, they're going to have to clean up that aspect of their society. There's a lot of weapons trafficking that has permeated the Caribbean region. And there's a lot of human trafficking also that is doing the very same thing. These people are coming up the Inter-American Highway just like Jamaica's traffickers. And they're coming into the U.S. And they're giving them a hearing in some cases and deporting them quickly. In other cases, they have to hold off until they can decide whether or not they are legit. They have legit reasons for coming into the United States. So you have somebody who wants to do law and order, but they want him out of there because they want free reign.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S. is not going to allow that free reign to happen. Now, the U.S. has held out for as long as it can about Henry every group, the Montana group, they have a candidate named Ja, and he is supposed to be the popular vote for president. But we don't see that happening yet. Right now, they have to make a transition. And to make the transition, they're going to have to bring in somebody from the Supreme Court, which is probably the only working government entity left in Haiti. Bring somebody in there to temporarily govern the country and then make the slow turnaround transition to voting and to uh, re-equipping your legislature, both at the local level and the national level. For a country of 11 million, you need that. You cannot manage with a one-man show, a one-woman. Right now, it has to happen that, yes, they'll probably prevent Henry from staying in because he will end up getting killed by this guy who just left jail in the US and came down here to Jamaica, collected all his weapons of war, collected all his munitions, and he's now in Haiti ready to do battle. So that guy has to be dealt with. That guy also is a former police chief in Haiti. So he understands the ramification of what he's doing. Question is, if he's allowed to take over and run Haiti, how will you make a transition from a strong man, which the Haitians have hated over the decades, since Papa Doc and Baby Doc? How you make the transition going from him back to some democratic system, which has failed each time they have a solid democratic leader who wants to enforce the law. And we talk about Aristide. We're talking about the president that was assassinated.
Which is rumored his wife assisted in doing so.
Not rumor, Major. The judge who's investigating has made a finding that she did assist in getting the man killed. So you have that to contend with. What is startling in a lot of these cases when it comes to Jamaica, how is Jamaica facilitating the movement of weapons and munitions into Haiti? How is Jamaica facilitated movement of the president's killers from Haiti into Jamaica and house them? Something is not right with our porous borders and our law enforcement, and something has to change in that regard.
You have a gift for understatement. Has anybody figured out why we have Chinooks operating in our airspace?
Well,
To train.
it's the preparation.
Go ahead, Mr. Herb. Go ahead, Mr. Herb.
From what I was told, is preparation for entry into Haiti.
That is what I was told also.
Yeah.
And
So,
training some of our people how to fly them.
Yep. Because you're going to have to have some armed, close-ear support, as they refer to these helicopters.
Do you also realize? Do you also realize that what everybody seems to be ignoring is until quite recently, Haiti could almost have been described as a protectorate or a colony of the United States?
Yep.
The United States bought the French debt.
Mm.
You didn't know that, right, Will?
Yeah. Yeah.
So having done all of that, why haven't they gone any further? Why them not suddenly draw out and say we must run in now? It's their mess. Why are we cleaning it?
You know why? Because they view us as cleaners. That's why.
Oh, we are the NSWMA of the Caribbean.
And we can't even clean our own garbage.
Well, I will tell you what else. People who forget the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. A former prime minister shored up his credibility by going into Grenada.
Yes.
This one might wish to do so by going into Haiti.
Well, what we're going to do now is segue into a program that will intrigue all of you. I know Mr. Rattigan has watched that video. And we're going to listen to that video and we're going to comment on it. I hope they don't strike me with this copy. I hope this thing is not copyright, but I have to play the video. Hold on for me, please. Here we go.
3 travel advisory for Jamaica, citing elevated crime and inadequate health care. Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Audrey Marks, calls the warning inadequate. She joins us right now from Washington, D.C. Ambassador Marks, glad to have you here. First of all, there was an advisory for Jamaica as well as for the Bahamas. And both Caribbean nations are contesting this. And so what has been your conversations with the State Department over this advisory? Because obviously it has an impact on people visiting your country.
Yes. So first, thank you so much, Roland, for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see you. We were surprised about that advisory because nothing had changed in Jamaica from 2023. And in 2023, we had over 3 million visitors and we had 5 cases of homicides. And they were all linked to Jamaican Americans, unfortunately, because every loss of life is important to us. But I made the point to say there are many Jamaican Americans who do not go to the resort areas. They might go into some areas. There might be some other activities. At least 3 were very clear cases of persons being involved in illicit activities. So to just to not do any differentiation and make a blanket statement that Jamaica is not safe when over 3 million Americans visited and there are only 5 cases of homicides. When I'm living right here in DC and I'm not seeing many places right here in the United States that have 3 million persons, many cities, and with only 5 cases of murders. So I thought it was a very unfair and not a very equitable description of the situation in Jamaica. So while we do have a problem in Jamaica with gangs and gangs involved in illicit gun and drug activity between the United States and Latin America, it is not in the tourism areas. And I think more details should have been given so that persons didn't get the feeling that there was suddenly some spike in violence going on in Jamaica, because it just wasn't so. And level 3 also, we do not think is really the category that Jamaica is in, because many other countries in level 3 are countries with having they have civil unrest. They have, all kinds of mass murders going on. And that's not the situation in Jamaica. Well, you have been to Jamaica, that's not our situation. So what we need is to continue working closely with the U.S. on the areas where they can be helpful in limiting the amount of illegal weapons that come to Jamaica that contribute to a crime situation.
Before we let the interview continue, Mr. Rattigan, you want to comment on this, and then we go on again with it?
Yeah. God help us. God help us. I'm serious. This ambassador is lost, and lost diplomatically, and there is no hope of her being, at least she won't be able to find her way back, because she's not good at what she's doing. She's not good. I tell you how disingenuous. Either she's disingenuous, or there's just something wrong with her mentally. And I say that because the State Department came out and said our the threat level 3 has been in place since, I think, March of 2022. They said the threat level
23.
No, 22.
22, yes, okay, go ahead.
22.
Yes.
And they said the threat, so the threat level did not go up. And they said, look, we are just informing our citizens about coming to Jamaica in terms of medical reasons, because the crime factor that raised it to level 3, that's always been there. And if you go back, which I have done, and you look at the travel advisory for 2022, the areas that they say Americans shouldn't go, exactly the same areas in January of 2024. Exactly the same areas. They didn't because you're saying, oh, nothing changed. The only thing changed is that they said don't go to Jamaica if you don't have health insurance and insurance for you to be airlifted out, because the medical sector is
unfortunately incapable of dealing with certain factors.
Yes. She's there now, and I'm surprised that Roland probably didn't do his homework, and his producer probably didn't do the homework. The issue was not crime. The issue was medical services. That's the issue. And there they are talking about crime. Now, as I said before, she said nothing changed from 2023. No, nothing changed from 2022, except that the U.S. government says, look, your medical sector, your healthcare facilities, they're just not functioning, and therefore we have to tell our people that if you come to Jamaica and you get sick, make sure you have insurance, because the embassy is not going to pay for your medical bills, and to airlift you runs anywhere between 30 to 50,000 US dollars to airlift you from Jamaica to the United States.
But Wilfred, sorry, stick up point. You realize what she did? She tied in the crime statistics unbidden to the advisory, making it seem as though you are very likely to get hurt, not fall ill, to get hurt, and then would not have the medical facilities to take care of the damage inflicted on you by the crime. That is why the raising of this matter by her in that manner took it to that level, which wasn't what the United States was saying. The United States was saying if you get bitten by a mosquito and get malaria, it's not the place to be. If you have sinuses and catch an asthma attack, it's not the place to be. That's all that we were saying.
And the thing about it is that after she came out, and I don't know why she keep propagating this nonsense, because after she came out first, and she went to the State Department and no results there. I think she had another meeting. The State Department came out and said, listen, I wish I had it up, but they said, listen, the travel advisory, the new travel advisory is based on health and medical concerns. They made it abundantly clear, because the travel advisory that's based on crime, that was in place prior.
That's been around.
Yeah, that's been around.
You know the unfortunate thing, and I wonder why people don't, maybe I just think stupid. This somehow coincided with the increase in the financial needs to improve Cornwall Regional, which is in the middle of our major tourist area. So the billions that have been added to the Cornwall Regional bill mean that not being ready anytime soon. So the largest medical facility in the largest tourist area not ready.
True.
Full stop.
And then you see, she was saying that they're giving the impression, the State Department is giving the impression that Jamaica is not safe. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed with that statement for two reasons. One is, before she made this statement, she stated that it was the Dirty 30 that caused the State Department to issue the travel advisory.
Shame
I
on
don't
you.
know. Yeah, I don't know why she give us credit and then she take it
Shame
back,
on you.
right? And then she said Jamaica is not safe for tourists. Jamaica is not safe. The question is, for whom? No, I hope my Jamaican people are paying attention. If you notice, last year more than 1,350 people were slaughtered in Jamaica. Jamaicans, right?
Yes.
And the year before that, it was almost 1,500. And you can go all the way back to 2016 when it was 1,600 and change. Sorry, 2017. And you notice she don't focus on any of us being killed. She don't focus on us. She focused on tour. And she said, and you and hear what she did. She said, "Oh, it was 5 tourists who were killed last year." And when you listen to the rest of the video, you'll hear her describe them as Jamaican Americans or whatever, and that some of them were involved in, illicit activities and so on and so forth, right?
And technically saying that Jamaican lives aren't as valuable as tourist lives.
Exactly. And then like I said, and then she was focusing on the crime. Well, the thing about it, and you hear her talk about, and Roland, shame on him too, because he didn't do his research. You'll hear them talk about, Jamaica's right below Afghanistan or whatever. What they failed to understand was that the murder rate in Jamaica is in the top 3 in the world.
Higher than some war zones.
Precisely. They don't mention none of the stuff. But you see, and then also, she did an interview, I think it was with the Gleaner, not quite sure, where she said that, or maybe it was her Facebook page, where she pointed out that stakeholders have complained about mass cancellations and inquiries. I know we should talk about. She talk about the resort owners. People. You see where her focus is.
But Will, hold on. Have you correlated this with what Minister Bartlett says? Him don't complain about none of that, Him keep boasting about new influx of tourists. So the two of them need to meet somewhere. Where are these major cancellations as against these major arrivals?
Correct.
Where the balance? Get your story straight.
So I just have have a big issue with this lady and the truth. I just have a big issue with her and the way she explains the position. She's not very skilled at doing this. And the thing is, she with every incident she's displayed an inadequacy that is disturbing, because this is her second stint as.
When has the US said she must leave?
Let's just get Herb Nelson into this now. Mr. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
What is your views on what Ambassador Ward said? Ambassador Mark said, rather. Sorry, not Ambassador Ward. Ambassador Adrian Mark.
Look, the job of an ambassador is to put the best spin on things when it's obvious that the country is being called out, right? When they say, Jamaica, it's reggae music, pristine beaches, lush nature, has much to offer. But when it comes to safety, the country is notoriously unsafe, plagued by high rates of homicide, violence, robbery, rape, and scams, right? And then they hit the police force by saying it's notoriously unreliable and ineffective in dealing with widespread crimes.
They stopped 2 inches away from calling them corrupt.
Well, you're right about that. Now, if
Yes.
you're gonna fight back or push back against this, well, I mean, she didn't have a whole lot of room to maneuver. She put herself in the corner, and then she had to jump through hoops to spin and spin until it sounded palatable for most people. But she's gone from blaming us and the dirty 30 to blaming whomever, right? It's a wonder she didn't call out Mr. Rattigan by name. And the fact
Dr. Francis.
Rattigan, you haven't heard Rattigan's new girlfriend name? She named Sue.
Well, I guess Sue.
Good enough,
that's a good one, Major. Sue is spreading her wings and protecting Mr. Rattigan and the rest of us.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I consider the terminology dirty 30 defamatory.
Yeah. So I guess if all 30 Sue, then we all have girlfriends named Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you can all get together and pick up a class action suit.
Yeah. Well, Will, you have your job cut out for you.
Let us go back to the video here and listen to what she was saying with this. Ambassador, Jamaica's world-class ambassador.
If you think about it, I mean, Jamaica could literally issue a travel advisory telling people don't come to the United States because of mass shootings and because of murder and crime.
The truth is, I'm not here to criticize the U.S. in any shape or form because the U.S. is, one of the greatest countries in the world. And I see the U.S. as a friend. I just thought they did something wrong and we needed to have a conversation about it and to look at how to fix it. And that's what we're doing.
And that is what we're doing. Hold on for me, please. YouTube come up with their video advertisement and everything like that. Hold on for me, please.
Did you all see what she just did?
Yeah.
Like you stroke your head like your neighborhood dog, don't bite. You're one of the greatest countries in the world. I just trying to stop you from having tics.
But he did something wrong. Who the hell is she? She's look.
As an ambassador, Wilfred Rattigan, as an ambassador, in an interview, you can tell the host country that they did something wrong.
Look, there's diplomatic speak. There are ways that you can go about saying things. I guess she's frustrated because she's been unsuccessful in getting the State Department to reverse its decision. And
didn't she say that it's you who went, all of us who went up there?
Well, yeah, she did make mention of the fact that 30 people went to the consulate in Miami, and we are the reason that I guess we inspired somebody or a group that went to the State Department, and the State Department did all of this. And then the State Department came out and said, no, it's not because of any event. That's the word they use, event. They said it's not because of any event. It's because your medical facilities are poor. And we were telling our citizens that if you come to Jamaica, don't get sick. And I mean, Finzi is right, because they actually did a travel advisory on dengue. If you go back and you look at, you'll see it. They did one on dengue. So this is not like the first time they're doing a travel advisory on something like this. I I guess they must have seen the videos coming out of the Cornwall Regional Hospital, the hospital at Savannah Lamar, the hospital in KPH,
One where people were
Spanish
fighting
Town.
with rats for the cardboard for bed.
Exactly. I guess they must have, I'm not guessing. They saw those. And so they're saying, look, don't come to Jamaica unless you really have to, because if you get sick and you don't have travel, you don't have medical insurance or insurance to airlift you up,
No,
this
they
is
don't
what you
take United States medical insurance down here.
They don't. Yeah,
No.
the travel advisor said that. And it also said, don't look to us to pay your medical bills. If you come here, you get sick and you have to be treated. So, and then the ambassador, she just keeps digging a hole. And I'm reminded by a friend who said, if you're digging a hole and you're throwing out the dirt and the dirt coming down and you stop digging, and she doesn't realize that she keeps digging and the dirt keeps coming back, coming down in the hole with her. But she's proven time and time again to be a poor representative of Jamaica. She's not well versed in the art of diplomacy. She's not.
I know, as a lawyer, guide me, because what I'm about to say may put me in trouble. So guide me.
All right, stop.
I'm not referring to anyone I'm not referring to anyone in particular. I'm just speaking as a general principle. You can apply it where you think it is appropriate. It is better to shut one's mouth and be considered a fool than to open it and remove all doubt.
There you go.
So in other words, what she should have shut her mouth.
He's right. He's right.
Yes.
He's right.
But you know what?
But you know, Finzi and Herb and Jeff. You know what that tells me?
Mm-hmm.
You have been here. You were here, and then you went home. Then you come back, and you've been here for almost 8 years. And you're right down the street from State Department. And your job as a diplomat is to develop relationships. That's your first job. Develop relationships. And you have been here for 8 years and you haven't developed the type of relationship where the State Department is going to implement this thing. And they don't call you and say, listen, we have an issue, and then give you a chance to work it out. What that tells me is that she doesn't have any relationship.
Or somebody call you. Let me tell you how it works. Somebody calls you and says, are you free for lunch?
Right.
Yes.
If you're busy, can we do dinner?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
By
how
breakfast, you will know where you stand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can communicate to the mothership.
Right.
Right. You
That's
communicate
Jamaica.
to the mothership and say, listen, this is coming. Right. And this is what I'm trying to do to head it off at the pass. That's how diplomacy works. But apparently she was caught off guard by all of this,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went to Kingston, then it came back to her, and she's a waste, man. Waste.
Do you know how many diplomatic things have been averted? Either maybe she don't play golf on a golf course or over a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a glass of Vicks and Coke with your fingers stirring it.
I'm not encouraging any alcoholic distribution.
No, we call it adult beverage. That's
adult
what we
beverages.
call
but check this out. The State Department issues travel advisories now based on comprehensive assessment of safety risks.
Yes.
True.
They consider not only crime rates, but other factors, natural disasters. What was happening around Jamaica? They could see where the global warming effects are, the sea rise and the down near a tsunami coming ashore.
We're lucky them didn't send one after Pier 1 get mashed up.
Yeah. Health risks and political stability. What was coming up? After 7 years, the local elections was going to be run. So those are three key areas that they rate. And the threats and the risk became high with the local election. with the hospitals looking bad in the international arena.
Our traffic accident proclivity in tourist areas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In fact, more tourists get injured by traffic accidents than any crime situation.
Yeah. Well, they get one got killed driving on the wrong side of the road
Yes.
because they might have had a drink and forgot exactly where they were driving.
Mhm.
Look, I have participated and I've witnessed the aversion of embarrassing incidents over a meal, like Bobby said. Somebody give you a call and say, "Listen, we have to talk. There's something coming up," and you know that this is not good news, and so you go and you sit and you hash things over, you try and work it out, and you can even delay it. I've been part of that where we delayed stuff. We said, "Look, give me 2 days. Let me just make some calls and see if we can work things out." And then you work through it. But no, she's then and I'm sorry you don't have that video, Jeffrey, where no, she's galvanizing diaspora members to and encouraging them to write letters to the State Department protesting the thing. And I'm saying, and she's
They're going to exacerbate the matter.
Yes, and then she's saying it in public, and the State Department looking at this and going, "Who the hell is this
And
lady?"
you are a diplomat.
Yeah, and what that tells me is that she has failed miserably because that's her job. Her job is to go there and convince them not to implement this travel advisory. And because she's failed, she's now saying, "Oh, all of you people out there of influence, all of you people in the diaspora,
she's rabble-rousing."
And I tell you how foolish her recommendation was. I'm not going to call her a fool like one of my guests did a few weeks ago. I'll just say that what she did was foolish, and there's a distinction. She's asking people to write to the State Department, and she didn't even say, "Okay, here is where you write. Here is the address. Here's the name of the person. Here's the phone number." She gave them nothing. She just said, "Write to the," unless there's some other part of the video, but the part that people saw and they talked to me about, and the part that I saw, she didn't mention, say, you call the person in charge of the Jamaica desk, and this is the name of the person or whatever. She just said, "Oh, reach out to the State Department and talk to them," and she said publicly. So what that tells me is that that's an admission of failure, that you have failed in your job, and so now you're asking the diaspora now to come and do your job. To me, you need to be dismissed for even suggesting it. You need to be dismissed.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
finish. Let me ask this question.
Time a script up on our togetherness.
Let me ask this question though. And a lot of people may say that I'm a PNP, but I really don't care. I personally think if it was the Ambassador Luma Samba with her charisma and her
different kettle of fish.
No, Jeffrey. No,
you're speaking of somebody who is used to drinking tepid water as against someone who can engage you over a cup of tea.
Jeffrey.
Cup of tea.
And a piece of cake.
Jeffrey. Yeah, I'm saying to you.
Jeffrey, I think it's a disservice.
But some people are behaving like a school in summer. You know what that is? No class.
Yeah.
What is that? What disservice?
No, I think that disservice to Ambassador Luma to even mention them in the same sentence.
True.
My apologies. Is light years ahead. She's light years ahead of this ambassador here. And by the way, this ambassador traveled to Kigali when my favorite minister anticipated being elected for the position of Secretary General of the Commonwealth.
What did she travel to Kigali for?
And I would like to know. And I would like to know, but you see, it's so obvious what they're doing. And again, this is part of the corruptive and corrosive situation that we have with the government. You have an ambassador in America who's flying to Kigali, and I'm not making this up. It was published in the Gleaner. Flying to Kigali for this apparent coronation, right?
Who paid for
The
that?
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth, yeah. Who paid for it?
Yeah, Mr. Who paid for all those, Mr. Rattigan? Oh Lord.
And others. And some of them, Finzi. I'm Finzi too. Finzi help pay for it.
in normal business practices, you know what that is called? You're away from your place of duty.
Gentlemen, let us continue this video because we have some more. I'm pretty much we have enough time to do all the video, Mr. Rattigan, because I have a call coming into the program too.
You
may stay long.
No, you can play, but there's a section at the very end where one of the guests said one of the most outlandish and ridiculous things I've heard in a while. She said she would rather have, if she's pregnant, she would rather go to Jamaica and deliver in Jamaica than deliver in America.
Wow.
It's at the very end.
Let me see if I can find it.
Wow.
And I said, is this lady for real?
Yes,
I'd like to send her down to Jubilee.
Midwife.
No, Jubilee, we're sending her go, man.
She have her own midwife.
Wow. Hold on for me.
Yeah, it's at the very, very end. This is after she talked about all of this stuff with the tourists, and then she talked about Bob Marley and the movie, and then at the very end,
there's two ladies there.
Two ladies, yes.
Okay, hold on.
Roland's eyes says it all.
Just saying. All right. Go ahead, Erica. Say it again.
Now, and to add in the healthcare perspective, it definitely sounds a lot like the United States, to your point, Roland.
All right. Going to a break. We come back.
No, Jeff.
Diplomat would be afforded. So I wonder if this is in retaliation for what happened last year, or if the United States is really trying to say that there was an uptick in crime in Jamaica. But level 3 seems very, very high, and it doesn't make sense. So I'm trying to figure out, what exactly is going on. Is it really about what the U.S. said, or is there something below the surface that's going on?
Yeah, because like I'm sitting here and I'm looking at, and come on, guys, go back. So St. James Parish, Montego Bay, they're saying do not travel. I'm not quite understanding this, and so they are, again, like I say, I was there for 2 weeks, and we look at this travel advisory here. They lay out country summary: violent crimes such as home invasions, armed robberies, sexual assaults, and homicides are common. Sexual assaults occur frequently, including at all-inclusive resorts. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that also sounds to me like the United States.
Absolutely.
Just saying. All right. Go ahead, Erica. Say it again.
Now, and to add in the healthcare perspective, it definitely sounds a lot like the United States, to your point, Roland.
All right. Going to a break. We come back. Say it again. Say it again, Rebecca.
As a Black woman, I would rather give birth in Jamaica than give birth in the United States. I think the likelihood of having a successful and healthy pregnancy is a better outcome in Jamaica than the U.S.
And that is indeed an issue in this country. All right.
Wow.
Hello.
Gentlemen.
Hello. My second grandchild, born in January in California, on purpose.
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
They went, and his parents, my son and his wife, went up because the wife is a citizen and had the child there. And
Why
the
didn't they have
child
the
is back
child?
here, safe and
What?
sound.
Why didn't they have the child in Jamaica? What was the concern?
Rattigan.
I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. I'm just.
Let me explain something to you. In my family in particular, when it comes to the health and welfare of our children, we don't roll dice. And if you have an option, you take the best option.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that people haven't successfully delivered babies, healthy babies in this country. My first grandchild was delivered at Andrews. But we, thank God, scraped up enough money to be able to pay for that. But I wouldn't have been all that comfortable if it had been in a public hospital. I'm just being straightforward.
And you know what? I think most people, given the option that your son had, they would take that option.
Yeah.
Most people would.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll have some people say, yeah, I can't think of too many people who will say, you know what? I can't afford it to go to Andrews, so I'm just going to have the wife just go down to Jubilee. And I just can't, I just don't see it.
I'm not putting down Jubilee in it. It has had years, decades of success.
We're talking about no. We're talking about no.
It has had horror stories that make you cringe.
Yeah, and we're not talking about years ago, because years ago the medical sector in Jamaica far better than it is right now. Far better than it is right now. I'm talking about no. If somebody has the option to go as your son did, to say, look, we're going to have the baby in California, all right, as opposed to a public hospital in Jamaica, I'm sure they would say, look, let's go have the baby somewhere else. Because I was shocked to find out that a lot of things in Jamaica, like surgery. And by the way, let me just say this: Jamaica has, from what I've been told, some of the best doctors.
Yes.
Right? But they don't have the equipment, right?
Actually, I know better. Jamaica has some of the greatest nurses in the world.
That's true. That's true.
What them have to get done with what them don't have is amazing.
Right. And like Ian said, Jubilee Hospital in Kingston was, Kokichi pointed out, it was no longer considered one of the best in the Caribbean. It was, but it no longer is.
We have drawn a line between what you call popular speech and propaganda and reality. If I can convince you that it is the greatest place on earth, although it is becoming a sewage pit, so much better. I don't have to spend.
Right. And you know what? Here's the key. All of the people of influence and power in Jamaica, the politicians, the titans of industry, the intellectuals, ask them when their significant other became pregnant, if they thought about having recently, like within the last few years, if they thought about having the baby delivered at Jubilee or KPH or wherever.
Young people box me in my face.
Okay. So the idea that mortality rate for Black women are better in Jamaica, fine. Fine, you can. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I'm just saying that if people have the option of having the baby in the US, for example, despite what you may feel about the US politically and otherwise, most people are going to exercise that option. They're not going
but I tell you something else, that I have this bad habit of thinking of things that other people. So how you think about that? As the crow flies, airborne pathogens are in a direct link with KPH and Jubilee, coming straight out of the raw sewage in the market at Carney. You know that is less than 100 yards run straight across the air to Coronation Market.
My God. Gentlemen, we have a call online. Caller?
Yes, sir, Jeffrey. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Rattigan.
Yes, good night.
Yes, ask me anything about if when I run hot. God bless you, sir. Me get a new name for you.
What that?
Yeah.
Eh?
Anyway, my topic, my little two-piece is Haiti and Jamaica crisis. That are one. The ambassador are two. Listen me now. And the pair are one main thing, one current thing at my Jamaica. The election that run the other day. And I like Mr. Urbans, the train me up there. I mean, and Jeffrey, we know law enforcement, we know land and whatever. Listen me now. We are fool. What power? What I'm fixing, we can fix it, Papa. Election run, and then jump, skip up, King Pupalik, and then go on, and then go down, and then say, KMAC. And then fix out and say what them do. No, this man when he Ennis put out, we not fool, put out a statement say in left. Well, listen good enough. Mr. Herb, Mr. Rattigan, FBI, and no more we happen, and no see we happen watching. We are Jamaica watching a movie. And the man say, him have you holding dignity, respecting family, and in values, listening to you know. I started the way the big up context matters. Your moral, your family. That means overall your character. You want when you're dead gone, people can say, this man XYZ, nothing bad for follow him and him pity them. Few minutes later, after that put out, the JLP Iraqi call an emergency meeting. No, listen, good enough, we no fool. And after the meeting call, this man I will retract back in talk. That not tell you like when you watch some show, say him attack under some gun punch. What is it they are the KMAS here what they want to call it? Why it is so important that them no want let go off of power. The next to me, to that man, anybody who listen to him, tell him say, my opinion, they need him now, they don't want him now. They need him, NEED, need him now. But as soon as they get him, probably they better never wake. And when the doctor operate upon him in die of natural causes, I'm going to end up like Mr. Moore with go over Perchy Hill and himself, and no father him and himself, or I carry him, or adopt him, or lizard him, or whatever. Him. Because clearly and squarely, no matter how you fool and blind, I tell you already said this man and Joel less than a million, they will go to the last bottom to hold on to power. And if we, the Jamaican people, did have a heart like Haiti, worse would have happened my Jamaica today than we have my Haiti. Right? Because if you lose, context you lose is on fire, we are going to move on. You think you expect from all the country every day and all have so much people under ransom? What is it you have to hide? What is it? And then you first lose KMAC, and then you first have me. Lots of me come and run. So how you want to stay there forever? How you? The special one, nobody else? Angela Burnberg was the mayor there. They lose. You see, don't do the messing there. Everybody just move on. That is it. The next thing, Haiti crisis can fix just like Jamaica. All we need is some transparency, accountability. And when you get this food for spread, you spread the food right across the board. That is it. People just want opportunity. Few people want handout because we are human beings. You find every type of genes in everybody. But the massive of the people no want nobody handout because Jamaican people rank and face it. They not like, yeah, give them, and all of them stay so. People want when we go work and we see what we work for. We live independent, our parents are safe to buy. we watch with internet and we relax and we drink little rum later when we don't get prepared, we buy 1.5 flask of rum and play to bone. And with that at Jamaica we say we more say and when them say with barbecue, we hear barbecue talk, although he talk in French, but there was a translator. What he's saying is that too much prime minister president come and hold the people them at ransom. There's 280, one party is multi-rich and the other parties is super poor. And that happen at Jamaica. If you go, I mean some people are foreign attack, you know. You want to come out and go in a hotel there when you see some twinkly light, you know. And look at the people that were working there, you know. All of the manager, general manager, disatara manager, and them, the owner cousin, the owner uncle, the owner wife, the owner niece, the owner this. Jamaican people only get the dirty part I work. Being bossed up down. They work at hotel, you know. As a security officer, you know, and turn up and pull the car exam, you know. And the man come up and tell me, say, after me come out of son, I tell me, say, me turn up my son, you know. So me have to turn to him and say, me can't talk you about, but me want to know interpret what me say. BCRC this. Me look like a soldier. Me look like soldier to you. This is soldier drop down in a parade and then well trained. Me look like soldier. And he got to tell another man in a film language, say, like, be disrespectful. But the next man know, he know English and he know film language. So the man come to me and say, what is it? And me tell him, say, me tell the person, I just come out of the man, I tell me, say, me forget turn up them. I mean, me no soldier. And he run away. I said, like him tell him, but he talking in Spanish. Go and leave your woman alone. You're out order. Right? So these are the things that happen to people at Jamaica. So not about Ray and you know everything nice. Take sick, come out here and hide your identity. Hide your identity. And go down our hospital. Go ball through your belly. And see what happen to you. Just go down there, go ball through your belly. Hide your identity. And see what happen to you down there. Only if you come on man and talk it truth. This Madam Ambassador, get your facts straight. Not to align with party. Put party one side and talk about our country and our future. You live in America where I name taxpayer money and everything and everything good, and if you take sick, ambulance and everything there. We want it to Jamaica 2024 now. We need it. Without we take sick, we must take up your phone and call away. Look, you see, ambulance are come and fire come and police are come because assist. And then they say they want a Jamaica. We pipe, we get water. Well, if sometimes the pipe mash up on the water ground because that different. Right? And then the life the Jamaican people want because we deserve it. More, you know, them talk about migration. Most of the people will go and find, go build up in a Caribbean country and come from, an Africa country. Why? Why them have to do it? I don't they don't want to do it. But because when them do it, them 50 them personal life is better. Every man who come from, every man and woman who born and grew at Jamaica, loved Jamaica. Who over there want to come back and invest in Jamaica. But they lucky door upon them. Right now, what they may say, China I give them money in the election. They can't vote, but them run things. I give them food, them packages, and yes, I run, and they only pay money. This thing for stop. The next thing, Mr. Wally said, he must send police and soldier from Jamaica to go at 80. No, when the people might eat, they say, cash. When the Jamaican soldier, them are going to say, or them are going to relate to them. My advice to Mr. Holness, you and your son and your family first go. And when you come back, we will go. When you first go, Mr. Chang and the rest of them, will I go? And when you first go, then we follow. I am calling on the woman time now. Wives, mothers, daughters, nieces, granddaughters, every member of the security force, all the female who are attached to a soldier or police, we need to go out there, go them man straight with husband now left. We pick the now left. Haiti can fix their own problem. Haiti don't have a external problem where you say you go help them. It's an internal problem. Haiti come like when a man and his wife have an issue inside. So as a friend to that mother, that woman, we can go and say, right, he is the bossy. This is what happen. See if you can work out it. Internal affair different from external affair. If somebody was invading Haiti now, and that's a different situation, but them have their internal affair fixed, help them fix their internal affairs. If you look good on the like on a bully, God help you. The people they need freedom. Barbecue say, everybody come say, them are going to do better, and them are the worse and worse and worse. Just like Jamaica. The thing that keep up Jamaica is the diaspora people them who they are foreign and have them two little cousins out there. And them are help Jamaica. And it seems to me like the Haitian them where they are foreign. Now help them people internally, some more hungry around than Jamaica. Any day, a remittance service, they lock down at Jamaica. Only we see we have more here. That is it. So when them are talking about 2030, Jamaica can become a good 2030 vision. But not under Jamaica alone, it's a regime. We don't have a democratic system anymore. We are living in a regime. The only thing left for this man to do is to pass some legislation to shoot with. If a soldier pass and feel like you are exercising gun, just shoot that. Because you know value nothing. That's the only thing left. A prime minister going to find out pass law about to pick me a big old 12-year-old for have KRC. How cool and that can be. How cool and that can be. You talk about you want to win election, $13,000 a week. People, people are wicked, you know, man. And people that on it talk all about a talk like say Jamaica is not that good. Jamaica itself, the land, the environment is good. But the situation for the people living there, it is not good. It's only for a few. Only for a few. When you do the ratio, just a few, the massive people at Jamaica stuff. That is the reason why scamming turn up, because a young boy find thing can do scamming. Yeah, but I went to school. In Ghana, scamming is you get here and not get it. And people are see that. And these people are do everything. I use the same people to fight fuel and to power. What is it in a power? So, what is it? He's the only prime minister will come here and do so much things. See, I'm very wicked, you know. I make us suffer in Haiti as a picnic. But you know, wicked like you. You're wickeder.
Let me ask
right? And the people, yeah. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Has you all seen what the prime minister did as yet for Silicon Valley?
With Silicon Valley, right now in buying I go prep. Because he call emergency meeting. And we see other cases out there where people in a problem. And we don't see call emergency meeting, but he call emergency meeting for hold on to KSMAC, what they want to call it.
Caller, can I clarify for you? You know what the emergency is? The building committee.
The emergency
is the building
all the
committee.
Building code and all the things and everything in a one. And Mr.
The building committee.
You know what happened?
Listen to me. The building committee, which they had absolute control of, now gone. Which means that somebody can do a forensic audit and see who gave permits to build what in return for what.
That is it.
So now there are certain things outstanding. There are certain things outstanding that people pay for already.
Let me ask you this question, caller. You said something the other day. The prime minister promised some stuff up in Trelawney. What was it again?
If the people have sense, then we call him, ask him about his city, Mountain Clarkstown in a city. So them all get a car, a park, them all get everything where a city make up of. In broke ground everywhere at Jamaica, me enough all earthquake nothing. Those are the things that we talk about. Too wicked man and cruel to people. Right? So we are set to mark goldings. And the next thing, security matters same way. Miss them put out about commissioner of police. One. Yeah.
We have enough flying.
They say no Silicon Valley. And then go turn it what you are marketing. Mega, me don't know where I'm turning, but you know do something. And I'm telling you as you can do a brownstone market now no water. A truck them have take a trucky. The next thing now, this is a security matter. Prime security, Mr. Rattigan, listen slowly. Listen, them put up 2 man say them out on commissioner of police. Now in Jamaica, the amount of unsolved crime and the fix, not fix, you know, FIX, fix barely belt. We would have really give him commissioner of police. What next? Mr. Bailey, we have grown to know you. Hear about you and see the wonderful work that you used to do. Don't me take back from you. You used to be a man of loyal integrity to your country. And you used to do your work. But from you get stung by this beast, no, you're not the fixed Bailey with Jamaican people used to look up to.
So who is the beast?
Mr. Moore, and Joel and him millions them. Mr. Moore can't hang him as poetry ill. Or a dopey hanging down there, we don't know, but that can't solve. The soldier man uptown come out in a night, come look panning car in bed, that can't solve. Man dead in a Patrick house, and him is not the suspect. And if I feel me, also one man dead in Almighty God, when then don't draw me water than Jeep Pantan. And he say one bed rest. And the list goes on and on. Maitland still that jail, and the girl body can't find. Jasmine Dean, Donaldson, Jasmine Dean, and the list goes on. Then you really want to turn commissioner. You have no ambition. You should have packed your bag and take a flight and come confess to the Jamaican people and tell them you have failed and you have beg little mercy. That you feel do. And boy, you have put yourself in it. You is the fastest rising policeman in our rank. You just blow up like a balloon. So 2 months you have this, next 2 months you have that, the next 3 months you have that, so you want to go Israel. Brother, one day you go dead. All the way you go dead one day. And we have to move on. The next one now, they understand me do background check for them. Blakey and call him. Understand that he is a good man. And he work hard, educated. But my problem with him, 2 things. Him is the nephew of a previous commissioner. Yeah. They still don't have no good record. That's Ellington. Yes! When putting that and enforce, in breed this, in breed that, and in this and animal all type of thing. We can't work with them people. We cannot work with those people. What we need, and in next constitution, about Prime Minister of last time, when they say them a change constitution, these are the things when if it change. The next thing when if it change is call some people who are bright background educational, train them to be jury. So then get paid like the lawyer, the clerk, the court, the judge, everybody. You take off people's name off a paper about the queen or the king. So change that. That means to say everybody in the courthouse have a monthly salary to get. You tell me now, an ordinary Jamaican, you have a case at circuit for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month, and that person been called to go, and for the months, he or she have to go to the circuit court. You can't tell JP say, you know, say, me have the jury work, and me have big role on me. You can't tell the landlord that. Come on, people, these are the things that we feel look to. Me and Mr. Chuck, he might need a hypocrite on top, but when they go for real read about the police going like a Nicodemus in the night. So when the police guard the people here, I know Nicodemus in the night. Right? I can't talk about him got double from $2,000 to $4,000. And if they get called and them no work, then we still pay. That's not good enough. Who know I get no big salary? Every Jamaican who work need big salary like Unu. Two. We have enough people who left school, even from the last school. You train them because them have an idea about law. Train them to be junior and make them pass and graduate and assign them with bodyguard like the rest of people them. Then you say the country go forward. Okay? And commission a police, you should allow the police rank and file to vote for them leader. Police rank and file, no Miss Mary, no Marjan, no this. Allow them to do their own thing. You cannot have a police attached to political party. It can't work. So if you take out Google Gaga and put in this money, I same thing. Right? These things will stop in Jamaica. These things will stop. These are the things that have led to too much crime and criminal activity. Right? That's it. And yeah, beg Mr. Andrew all this. I'm begging no food, sir. But we think about sending our sons and daughters and uncles and fathers and grandfathers to Haiti. Because you know, say, it's a dead bird that come back. And when you send them up there, and when you call election, you're going to put you off and use it as excuse. And it's not going to work. Every trap how you said, we are trying to mash you up. Everything. In my training, they say you have to think like a thief to catch one. Okay? So that is it.
Before you go do.
That is it.
Before you go do.
Yeah.
You called me the other evening on the program here, and you said to me that the Prime Minister promised the people of Flagstone, Silicon Valley. Tell us some more about it, no?
Yeah. Well, we don't know it's bad the way to go, because when we look at Silicon Valley, we see all of them big people, multi-billion-dollar establishment up there, terminal part of the way to go. But because people fool and them don't read, and when they go to political meeting there, that's a blow, voo, and all listen. Right? This man tell lie till he tell lie about himself. I believe in one lie. Right? This man chat till he tell lie every time the Prime Minister. You know, nobody knows, seriously. You know, nobody really look. It looks so bad for a Prime Minister, chief servant of a country, and where the whole nation look to you. And you just like a piece of old rag where people dash one side. People sick and tired of you. When they say PGA clean, Porsche and the rest were gone and realize. Use the wickedest and cruelest thing God make, and use the youngest Prime Minister that's serving at Jamaica. And you're cruel. You walk and tell people about you make highway. You don't make no highway. Talk about the road from Melrose Hill to Discovery Bay. That's the road where we want, cross-country road. Porsche seems to left the money that you need. So don't take the highway as bypass. Melrose Hill to Discovery Bay, where that the road money there. That is the reason why so much accident upon the road, because you can't keep to the left. You have to skip left, right, the patrol.
Hold on there for me, caller.
These are the things people say.
Hold on for me. Someone in the chat room, JamaicaTV.com is asking the question. Do you have an idea if the Prime was born in a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom house?
Ascan to me never born. Because in born a Cumberland Road in a 1-bedroom at tonight, in Granny, tomorrow in a 2-bedroom with his mother, his father and his sister. So me no party me ban. Right? Tell life on your own self. And people are believing. I don't remember saying my word come to pass. Me tell you no say. If Andrew only strive to fire every Warmington, it a gonna be a kushu cash. You see come to pass? You see come to pass? Because me know say he have secret for Andrew and Andrew have to go down on the knee, but because of the PSOJ. And you see uno PSOJ people, most of uno, I mean I go say how come you know much member uno, but the most of uno is so cruel, uno heartless. PSOJ, uno a businessman, and it's the common people work for uno. None of our friend them no work in the factory. None of our friend them no work in a distribution center. None of them. And the people who serve uno is uno worse than the first time slave. And the first time slave master used to feed them slave. Uno is cruel. Imagine you have a worker in a factory and that worker get injured and you don't have no hospital to care that worker. And you probably, if you rate the worker, you might have came uptown.
You know,
that look good.
You know, Carl, as you talk about that, I was having a discussion with somebody. It was the day before yesterday. There is a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force who has a root canal and it turns out into cancer.
Oh my God.
The JCF has an insurance with Sagicor.
Yeah.
The insurance money inside Sagicor, if I'm putting it correctly, is in the tune of $3 billion.
Mm-mm.
And the JCF right now is begging this police woman.
Oh my God.
Police lady died of some problem. Dr. Rupert Francis is the one who raised her. And you're telling me that this Minister of National Security.
Insecurity.
Yes, the Minister of National
Fight
Security.
of order. Insecurity.
That's what is going on in the JCF. So, you know.
Worse are going. Why, may I tell you?
We ask ourselves this question tonight. I'm going to close the program now because I see that the gentleman there look at they're tired and want to go. But what is going on right now? And for us to be sending our sons and daughters into harm's way, it's not right.
My opinion, I would call all of the female them, none of the male. All female from baby, pregnant, to not pregnant, grandmother, mother, wife, cousin, sweetheart, every woman. Get a placard and go down at Jamaica house, not Jamaica house, out of the house of the baboons them. Because a flock of baboon is called a parliament, thanks to Mr. Finzi. So go down there, go demonstrate. No man at all, no go, no son, daughter, wife, grandmother, or auntie, every woman family. Get placard peacefully. No care no knife, no care no tick. Just go down there, right on the placard. Say no way. No way. Go there peacefully and stand up with no placard. All the women who affected to a member of the JDF or a member of the JCF. Every female, no male, because they love to lie papa man, say man this and man that. Every female. And when you know do it, you call the US embassy or the international, make them come see. No way. Repeat them now, go down there. If somebody award Jamaica, fine, we have a soul of them and we know probably few of them are going dead in the line of duty. We accept that. But you now, it's not right you take up with Pitney, we swear to uphold the law of Jamaica and keep Jamaica safe in our people internal affair. If it was an external affair now, and we say we have a beef up security with them and help them, we and them work to defeat the invader, fine. But for our next nation of the internal affair, and the next thing, the Asian them run will come up on board. And within hours, don't send them back. So when the free do not go over there for, I send soldier for. People, human being, comes what me, fight them way across the water and come here, and you send them back. So now, why you want to take the soldier them and police to send over there? And soldier and police. I've never been a police or a soldier. But sometimes I go so and sometimes I go so. Mr. Finley can back me up. Then say, them have a system up there. If they say jump, you just ask them how high. That means to say, if them pick you for go at 80, you have to go. You can't say you now go. Yo, when you start to take book lock from now and solve physics. So when we do a shit here, shut up and down. Every man who go work with a shit, go for book lock and solve physics and Epsom solve and just mix up it and start drink. So as then cause you make a walk, no can go. Remember me tell you, find some way. Find some way, take book lock. Oh. You can't find a book lock, get the Epsom salt. Doctor, and when you know, I do, doctor goes say you dehydrate and you cannot go. Simple. These things are cruelty. Oh. A soldier is, and a police is served to protect and to reassure. And we can give a lending hand to our neighbor in time of crisis. But with Haiti thing is an internal affair. And the same internal affair with our Haiti, I eat that Jamaica, it will fix. Fix your yard before you go abroad, brother. Fix your yard, make when people work, they can see what they work for. Make it future, picking them up, make it young, picking them up, future. My son at 13, and his dream is to become a marine biologist. Yeah. Marine biologist. And every time he get it, appear 100 in get. And what he missing get 85. Pay 100, and his dream is to become a marine biologist. What is the future for him? For the poor parents and many other people. A marine biologist. That is in plan. Right? Never son say more ton soldier. You don't want to join the army, but we say unless Anjou is evaporate somewhere in the sky. Not evaporate. You know, him now put on the police and no soldier. And under this regime. And he qualified. Right. He qualified. He have 7 CXC. He have 1 in a maths. Pay 1 year when he now go in there. Oh, apply. Look, he might look helpful to go foreign. See? Young white man, 7 CXC, all in a one. He don't want to stay in country, motivate himself, help him in smaller one under him. And so, what you might pay look to go foreign? So probably he must look at white girl when he come here and get a green card from a whitey.
Listen, I have to tell you, thanks for calling. Because thank you for calling in. Because honestly, I'm trying to figure out where in Clarkstown Silicon Valley is gonna go.
Well, I get a drone and serve via place.
Rattigan and Finley Smith and Herb and myself we're going on a helicopter and a plane. And we haven't get some the jeep and signal the plane we're going around.
I don't want to go on a helicopter. Any helicopter I come over a Jamaica now. People get timid. And every time we see why they see 2 helicopters long about one same way. And the people must say, people are pronounce Jesus Christ, what is? I want to make an helicopter there. I want to Jesus have mercy. Everything Jamaican people see now, they start to get a panic because they're not used to them.
Thank you for calling in, my friend. Thank you so much for calling in. You always.
All right, sir. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me. It's a good monologue that she has produced, but let me interject something. The entire world that the U.S. Well, first was the U.K. Britannia ruled the waves. Now the U.S. Is on patrol. Things are changing, and what the U.S. is doing is encouraging the formation of regional security arrangements so that they can contain regional actors who's hell bent on breaking down the regions and dominating regions, right? They have to do something to form, like the AU. The AU was formed kicking and screaming, and now they can say in ECOWAS, which is the east coast of Africa, I'm sorry, the west coast of Africa, they can say, hey, we can put together a force to come in and to quell violence, extreme violence in some countries that is getting out of control. And where they're going to call on the former masters, the former colonial powers to go in and do interdictions, go in and stop it, right? So when you look at all the regions of the world, you know, the Americas, the Central America, the South America, they all have regions formed to contain, whether it's containing Venezuela in South America or containing some other actors in Central America. You look at Israel in the Middle East, where Israel is used as that proxy to do interdictions in the Middle East. You look at the UK, where they use as a proxy in Europe. So you come to the Caribbean, and since Haiti is in flux and not able to attend to and creating most of the problems in the Western Hemisphere, they're looking at Jamaica to be the stand-up, to be able to stand up the region militarily. You see a lot of closeness between U Southcom, U.S. Southern Command, and the Jamaican military, to where Jamaica is even promoting and administering a Caribbean military academy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people attending from Latin America and other countries, right? Why? Because they're getting their professional development training right there in Jamaica. So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to international relations, things are being resculptured to power up the regions and to allow the regions to contain itself and not let violence and the fact that people have been overthrown and all this stuff get out of control. And right now, I think the last region to stand up is probably going to be CARICOM. And CARICOM comes together and they like to talk. They do a lot of talking about Haiti. And nobody has decided affirmatively within the CARICOM region to put together a program and ask for the UN and US funding and to do something about the Haitian situation. So everybody's always, when something ridiculous as an earthquake or a hurricane occurs, they're waiting on the good old US of A or Canada or somebody else to come in and save them. Well, this is self-help. You're gonna have to start learning how to save yourself. And this is what the US has been advocating for a while. And other countries are beginning to catch on. Right now, there's a big uh, combine between the AU and CARICOM. So we're learning now about, the trading between both regions to include vaccines and other developments that are coming. So you have a market that was close to you because you had to go through the US or the UK to get to Africa when it came to the markets. But now you don't no longer do that. Now it's a direct trade that the trade routes are starting to open up. So there's a big impact coming when it comes to what is going to happen and whether or not you want China spending over $18 trillion to be the one to come in to settle both Haiti and Cuba because the US has not been able to handle them over the decades. The US has isolated them, right? So development is the key, but how you develop these countries, how do you control the violence emanating from these countries, the illicit weapons, the human trafficking, all of these things come into play. And somebody's got to take charge, or somebody's got to stand up and lead. And, unfortunately, that somebody may very well be Jamaica, but it's going to get a lot of assistance from the US as big brother and from Canada. And there was a Canadian aircraft flying around down in Jamaica.
Two of them.
Yeah. So they probably have more of them.
Oh yeah.
Right? So maybe Mr. Nelson, that there's a Canadian aircraft carrier off the coast of Jamaica then.
Well, the mothership is never too far away. Or if it's not a mothership, then it's going to be a C-17, one of those great big transport planes.
One of them is here.
The C-17.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got to start looking at this as us stepping up. Or you can look at it that eventually the U.S. reduction in its forces, U.S. doesn't have a large army. Not anymore.
But Herb, do you agree with me that we should revisit the occupation of Vernon Field?
Yeah. I mean, the Vernon Field is supposed to be part of the logistics hub.
Yes.
That makes us the fourth largest logistics hub in the world.
Yes.
But if it means that it's going to interfere with the expansion that is supposed to occur in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, the what if scenarios start to play out. What if all this development across the Caribbean is attributable to the cartels and money laundering? What if the cartels begin to take control of regional governments?
Some people argue they may have done so already.
Right. So we gotta get serious and not, keep the argument that our guys are going up in smoke. No, our guys not gonna go up in smoke. Right? They go in, they're gonna get close air support. If it means the US is gonna drop a 500-pound bomb on some poor souls who don't realize they're firing up on some aircraft that's carrying that kind of munition, or they have these chain guns that can fire over 3,000 rounds a minute, and they open up on you, they're going to set an example.
But do you
Barbecue
also
or whatever his name
realize
is.
that the gangs aren't gangs as we know them to be? The gangs are former Haitian military.
Yep, yep. But they are training two different sets of Haitian forces now. One was in Brazil, and one is could be Colombia or Paraguay or somewhere. But there's two different places. But Haiti is going to have an army again.
Okay.
They're going to have an army. So
They
you're going to
need
see
it.
that come into
Mr.
being.
Nelson, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
and Wilfred Rattigan and Major Smith. Based on what is going on now, who do you think that they would put in place in Haiti? Do you think they'll go back for Aristide or one of those former presidents? Or would they put one of the former ambassador in?
Well, let me put it this way. Haiti is not used to somebody being steeped in law and order. They're just not built that way. That's how far afield they've gone. So they're going to have to get a personality in there that can kind of coax the country back over to the right side of the law and get them to start obeying the law. And if you
American
look
general.
at
An American general.
well, I don't think so. America has shot its load, as you know, from 1915 and again, with the other incursions, and each time Haiti has fallen apart. So what we have to look at is a populist leader that may be a middle of the road guy. He's not going to go too far left, and he's sure as hell he's going to go too far right. Not in Haiti anyway.
And who can keep him alive?
Well, the folks that are being trained, that's their job. They're going to have to keep him alive, and they're going to have to keep the industrial areas free and clear of the gangs, and so that the production in Haiti can start moving again.
And who is going to ensure that one of the senior officers of the people being trained doesn't suddenly get ambitious?
Well, again, you go back to the fact that we've been down that road before, especially in Haiti. And they're going to have people who are ready to move on such an individual in case that occurs. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily it's going to be all bad, right? Like I say, you have 11 million people that are pretty much a good portion are indisciplined right now. So how do you bring them back to the center? I spoke in the past about the Chinese and their way of doing the re-education programs. Can we have a re-education program in Jamaica and in Haiti? Pattern off.
Are you suggesting, Mr. Nelson, that maybe we should ask the Chinese military to come in?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Jeff.
Chinese military are here.
Right. The PLA work in civilian clothes and they're all around us. Right? So when you're talking about a re-education program, the doctrine is what you're looking at. But what would we want to teach our people? Right? Do we take them back to believing again in the ethics in God, country, and the flag, all of these things that they seem to have forgotten and take for granted.
You need to
And
teach them ownership.
ownership, yeah.
Ownership. They must stop telling them to go work for somebody. Teach them to own something.
And the respect for others.
Yes.
You take
Once
a
you have
life,
ownership, respect for property comes right beside it.
right, right. They take a life without blinking.
Nope.
They snuff people out.
It's a video
Right.
game.
Yep. Well, we're gonna have to change that attitude. And that means we're gonna have to get serious.
Which means we're going to need to open crematoriums.
There you go.
Gentlemen, we got to wrap up now. Mr. Rattigan, your closing remarks.
Well, it's going to be brief. I'm just concerned that, we keep putting out this message saying there's voter apathy and that, we need to do a public service announcements and all kinds of mechanisms and, initiatives to get people to vote. And yet still, we see where voting is still apathetic. And the question is, why? Why is it that we have that power to remove or to keep or to install politicians to represent us and we still don't use it? Because 3 out of every 10 electors, people who are authorized to vote, 3 out of 10 actually vote. That's not good. That's not good. So we have to step up the message. We have to come up with an initiative. I have one, and I hope people tune in this Saturday to Reason with Rattigan at 3 o'clock, and then we can discuss it. It may not be the answer for Jamaica, but at least I'm trying to come up with something rather than just talk about the problem. I'm also talking about solutions, and I'll present my solution, and then we can discuss it and criticize it, rip it apart. It's nothing personal. I'm just putting out one, but just keep in mind that when you criticize it, I hope you have one that can replace it, because the talking thing, we're just tired of it, because government is not listening to us. So there are some things that we're thinking about. And thanks for having me, and all of you in the chat. Bless upon yourself. All of those who will watch it afterwards, likewise. Thanks for having me again, Jeffrey. And big up Finzi and Herb and all the young people who came on. I mean, I'm inspired by them, and I love talking to young people because they're brimming with ideas. But what we need to do is come up with something so that we can materialize their ideas into reality. Thanks again.
Mr. Nelson?
Yeah. You had one person, Derek Lewis, say I was talking nonsense, trying to sound intelligent. The UK is not even in the EU. This guy ought to remember, where was the UK 2 years ago? They were in the EU, right? But they've always been the proxy in Europe for the good old US of A. The US put billions of dollars every day into the UK and keep them strong so they can be in between us and the Russians or anybody else who want to jump up and start beating their chest. You've got folks got to start thinking regionally. And this is part of it. All these regions are being formed. And you're going to see more enforcement within regions by the stronger partners within the region. That's what the objective is. And that is how you get to calm down the regions. U.S. is busy in the China Seas. U.S. is busy in the Middle East. U.S. don't have no time for this nonsense in Latin America and the Caribbean. So you're going to see more of these partnerships form. And you're going to see a lot of folks going to be trying to figure out where the jobs in the region, especially when the region becomes more and more prosperous. And you have to start saying to people, look, start training for jobs in, say, for instance, Guyana. Why? Because oil and gas is booming in Guyana. Or start training for jobs in Venezuela when Venezuela is on the uptake. If you speak Spanish, you should have an easy time getting in there if you're skilled, and you're amongst those skills that they're asking for. The world is truly becoming flat, and we have to prepare ourselves, just like you need to have them teach the Mandarin right here in Jamaica, in these high schools. China ain't going anywhere. China going to be here for a long time to come. So you might as well start learning the language so you can apply the skills with the language and become truly fully qualified.
Yes.
This is going to be project sharing for decades to come. They have too much investments here and it's not going away. That's it.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Sir Herbert Nelson Jr. Major Fincher Smith.
Sir.
Your closing remarks on this program was a marathon from 6 o'clock this evening until now.
Teach your children ownership. People don't destroy what they own.
Yes.
Stop trying to send your children back to the plantation, but go get an education and get a job. Teach them ownership. And show them pride. The old song, I think must have been Harry Belafonte or somewhere in that region, said, "This is my island in the sun."
Yes. It's Harry Belafonte.
All my days I will sing in praise of your glorious waters, your shining sands. We need to own a piece of the rock and not just try break the rock. If we don't do it, we have lost one generation already. Another one lining up behind them if we don't do it right. So we need to do it right. Demand impeachment processes be put in by whoever wishes to be government. You want to be a government? Put on your platform impeachment coming for 5 days of your program. And the next major construction is a prison for the politicians. And the politicians step out of line far enough, there's your prison. Maybe them will straighten up and fly right. But this is my island in the sun. I have done what I can at my age to do right by my children. I have now reached the stage where I have grandchildren. And just when I thought it was time to lie down, I have to stand up again. But my grandchildren will own something. And who want to step in the way of that, I don't have any apologies for what may happen to you.
Thank you. I want to say thanks to all the young people that came on. Thank you for making it the Make We Talk program. For all those on our YouTube channel, thank you for being a part of the Make We Talk family. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribe. And to my fellow Jamaicans, both home and abroad, the time for all of us to think about this piece of rock we call home Jamaica. Jamaica is not a PNP Jamaica or a JLP Jamaica. Jamaica belongs to all of us. Every single one of us who born on that piece of rock. We never born a member of the People's National Party, a member of the Jamaica Labour Party. We were born Jamaicans. And the change that you seek in our country will never come from the People's National Party or the Jamaica Labour Party. The change that we seek as Jamaicans have to come from us. Join me tomorrow at 7 p.m. when my special guest will be Jamaica's youngest senator, Senator Gabriela Morris. She will be my special guest tomorrow. And we'll dig deeper in what the young people of Jamaica think about the political process in our country. Until you hear my voice again, I want to say thanks to my good friend Wilfred Rattigan, Herbert Nelson Jr., Major Finzi Smith. Thank you all very much for coming on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to say thanks to my good friend who made this program possible, Owen Brown. Thank you very much, my good friend. Thanks to the person who made the flyers for me, the logos for me, for this program here this evening. Thank you all very much. May God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica land we love. As I end the program by saying, before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the strength and vigor of my mind, in service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Have a great night, everyone.
Unity, strength.
Thank you.
Make
See
we
you,
reason.
listeners, as well.
Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents Yard and Broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon. Nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica. Make we talk. Make we talk. Unity.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.